Welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Jess Perkins, and as always, I'm here with Matt Stewart. Hello, Matt.
Hey, Jess, how's it going? It's so good to be here. And quick question for you, how good is it to be alive?
Personally, I wish I was never born.
Oh, my God.
We are not joined by our good friend Dave Warnocky.
Yes, yet again, he is not shown.
We do not know where he is.
Yeah.
And we do not wish to know.
I say yet again. These episodes are coming out in a funny order. Maybe... Has he been here recently?
He's probably been back.
He was probably here last week. I can't remember.
Yeah, who knows? I don't. I'm in charge of the schedule. Don't care. Anyway,
this one is because we're pushing this episode right up the order. It's coming in hot off the presses.
That's
basically
right.
Going out live.
Yeah, this is basically live. If you were to run down to Stupid Old Studios right now when you're listening, we're here.
Yeah. Give us a wave. We're not in a room with a window, but we'll know.
But we'll know you're waving.
We'll know.
Anyway, we are very excited to be joined by a friend of the podcast, and you may know him from the world of podcasting. His name is Alexander Jones, a.k.a. AJ from Cult Popture. AJ, welcome to Do Go On.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here. I'm so excited to read you a report.
Yes.
I hope it's fun.
We're
I'm
excited
really
for that
excited.
too, because it means we haven't written a report. And also, like, you're doing all of the work with this one because you're doing the report, but also people might know, or might have heard that sometimes we refer to an AJ on the podcast. That's you. You're our editor as well.
Yes. I have achieved every podcast editor's dream of guesting on the podcast that he edits. I have turned the parasocial relationship into a real friendship, and if I can do it, listeners, you can do it too.
Let's not give anyone any crazy ideas, AJ.
You too can do hours of paid work and eventually climb up the ladder to then do free work and guest on the podcast.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
There'll be people out there who'll know you from your viral TikTok videos where you do all the generations. Like,
Yes.
how do the generations would respond to a gay character being introduced on a sitcom?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Am I the millennial? Oh, okay.
You should make your own, Matt. You're so good at it.
No, I think that might have been Gen X. Okay.
Oh.
A little side eye.
Yeah.
You did great
yeah.
side eye for Gen X.
Thank you so much. Yes, I got, I like to say I'm mildly TikTok famous.
Yeah.
Though these days it feels more like I used to be mildly TikTok famous.
I think TikTok fame is fleeting.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the beautiful lesson for us all to learn.
So, AJ, you've been editing this show for what? Maybe a year? Maybe 6 months? Maybe 3 weeks? Who knows?
Hard to say.
I think my first episode I edited was The Matrix with Alexi and Cam.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
that
was
could
the
have been
first
a
one
year
I
ago
did for you.
when we were in Sydney. Now, so you've listened to this a lot. You'll know,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to explain to us how this show works.
Yes.
Of course I could do that. What an honour. So this is a show where the three of us, the two of you, and usually Dave, go away and come up with a report and then read it back to the class with, as you say, Matt, dog shit riffs. I see, I'm in a tricky position here where, like, I don't think you'll have had a more intimately familiar with the show guest before, right? And I don't want to come off as like I know all the in jokes, so like I like limited myself to inside jokes writing this report because I didn't want to come off as a fan, which I am, but I also want to be like, yeah, I'm also a big podcaster as well, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, We've had friends come on the podcast who have listened to Do Go On, and you know they kind of know some of the in jokes and stuff. But you're paid to listen to Do Go On.
I know what gets cut out.
Exactly right. Yeah.
You're intimate with the dog shit riffs.
Yeah.
the shittest of the dog shit riffs,
shittest
or
of the
as
shit.
you say, dog shit ruffs, which I like.
Did I say that?
Yeah, well, I mean that's just your accent, but I love it.
Yes.
Probably the best accent in the world.
Whenever Australians make fun of the New Zealand accent, I never hear it. And I'm not precious. I'm not like, don't make fun of me, but I like the fush and chups thing.
Yeah.
Like if I can say fush and chups, then clearly I'm not saying fish and chips when I say it.
Yeah,
It confuses me. It confuses me.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's That's broken my brain a little bit. Yeah, you're right.
You've got a very international accent, though, AJ.
Yes,
Oh, thank
man
you.
of the people.
Thank you so much.
It's so good to have a Kiwi on because we have a few Kiwi listeners and they have been wanting us to come over and do a show, which I'm so keen to do. But this feels like this is our first solid step across the Dutch to New Zealand.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be the midway point between you over there and coming over here.
Yep, you're our gateway. And look, you know, because you have edited so many of these, that we usually start with a question.
Yes, I have a question.
Great.
And I wanted to make my mark on this show, so I thought I would try break the record for the longest question ever asked in Do Go On History.
He's going to start the report and then we have to guess?
Yeah, it's a 5,000 word question. No, and I did this, one, to be funny, but also because I am gunning for the Shiny Golden Gary for Best Guest award. I'm Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant. I'm getting eaten by a bear to try and get that award. So, Here we go. This is my question. Which feminist icon has had over 200 careers, including actor, artist, ballerina, cake baker, chef, circus performer, dancer, fashion designer, fashion editor, fashion model, fashion trend forecaster, film director, film producer, floral designer, game show host, interior designer, makeup artist, musician, music producer, news anchor, photographer, photojournalist, rapper, singer, stylist, a TV news camerawoman, an Avon representative. Please don't guess till I've finished.
We've already done Oprah, AJ. Mate.
We've already done Dolly Parton, AJ.
Rapper, singer, stylist, TV news camerawoman, Avon representative, babysitter, bake shop worker, beach snack stand worker, business executive, cafe worker, candy or ice cream parlor worker, cashier for McDonald's and Pizza Hut, chief sustainability officer, crepe shop worker, dog daycarer, entrepreneur, farmer, food truck operator, Mary Kay consultant, noodle bar worker, pet boutique owner, security, waitress, art teacher, ballet teacher, cooking teacher, English language teacher, music teacher, science teacher, sign language teacher, student teacher, animal rescuer, dentist, doctor, nurse, paramedic, pediatrician, surgeon, veterinarian, paratrooper, US Air Force pilot, a Marine Corps sergeant, a Navy petty officer, a UNICEF brand ambassador, the president, the vice president, Canadian Mountie, detective, firefighter, judge, lifeguard, cop, astronaut, chemist, game developer, microbiologist, renewable energy engineer, NASCAR driver, beekeeper, cat burglar, cowgirl, magician, zookeeper, superhero, and tooth fairy? Question mark. Thank you so much.
I have no idea. Completely stumped.
That's a lot of jobs.
That's too many jobs, I would argue. Some of them also feel just so deeply entrenched in capitalism.
Yeah.
Avon lady.
Yeah. Diametrically opposed careers ideology, like UNICEF brand ambassador coming right after Navy petty officer.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
The way you said them so fast, it was hard to know if some of them were merged jobs as well.
Yeah.
And some of them
beekeeper,
are.
race driver.
Oh wow, okay. She busy. Look, I'm gonna have a stab. Mostly because of all the buzz that's happening at the moment in the world.
The bees.
Is it Barbie?
It is indeed Barbie. I have somewhat become a Barbie expert in the last few years, not on purpose, but on my podcast, Cult Popture. A couple years ago, we covered at the time, 37 Barbie films. It took us, the episode is 18 hours long.
What? 37 Barbie films?
There's 42 now. We've recently caught up for the new movie. We usually...
But this is not the first Barbie movie. The big hit.
No, not at all. It's the 43rd one. Yeah.
Wow. Is it a reboot?
No, and it has nothing to do with the other movies either.
Okay.
We usually cover film franchises on Cult Popture, so we've done everything from Godzilla to Godfather to God's Not Dead. That's our brand new tagline. And there were 37 Barbie movies, so we recorded it. fans of both our shows might remember that Jess, you and Dave guested on our 28-hour Scooby-Doo episode at the start of this year, because there's 47 Scooby-Doo movies. Not all our episodes are that long, but those two are. So
yeah, and you did make us watch all 47 Scooby-Doo movies, which was just a bit of a piss take.
Yeah, no, but you know what? To your credit, you did it, and that's the great number 8 wire ingenuity that both our lovely nations share.
AJ, I think I can come clean now. I wasn't actually sick.
No,
I'm just not watching that many movies, mate.
So what are your guys' experiences with Barbie? Have you seen the new movie? Did you play with the dolls growing up?
Yes and yes.
So no one know from me.
Haven't seen the movie yet?
I'm keen to see it. I just haven't had the chance. But I did give my sister, I think it was a Barbie present for Christmas when we were kids. And everyone was like, it's so weird. And I don't know why. It didn't seem weird to me at the time. It just seemed cool. Not cool, but interesting. But anyway, it was like a pregnant Barbie, and the stomach could pop off, and there was a baby there, and then the little stomach would come out.
Her name is Midge, and she will come up.
Yeah, she will come up, and she features in the film.
Exactly.
Oh, does she?
Yes.
Everyone, I'm like, because I was 8 giving my 5-year-old sister or something
this pregnant Barbie.
And at the time, I'm like, isn't that cool? It's like a functional Barbie. Normally they don't do anything.
Yep.
And I was like, that's real weird.
Au contraire, they do a lot.
Oh, okay, sorry. You have just mentioned that they do quite a few things.
It is so funny that you mentioned Midge though specifically, because she is a running joke throughout the Barbie film.
Oh.
So you'll love that.
That's great.
Yeah. I will be discussing the new film, but kept away from spoilers in case people such as Matt haven't seen it. But yeah, what about Jess? Did you have a Barbie doll growing up?
I had heaps of them. I was also, on my mum's side of the family, right, there's 12 grandkids, but only 2 of us are girls, and there's a lot of aunties. So they loved buying us Barbies and fun toys.
Nice.
I had heaps of them. I loved Barbies. And I have seen the movie and I loved it. And I went with a friend of the show, Michelle Brazier. It was for her birthday. We went in a big group of friends, all of us in our, mid-30s. And we got to the cinema, all dressed in pink, of course. And the cinema, the foyer, filled with 13-year-olds.
Nice.
And I'm not good at judging the age of kids. They could have been younger. But there was several birthday parties happening, but mostly for tweens, and then there was us, a bunch of mid-30s in the back of the cinema with glasses of wine ready to watch Barbie, and it was an interesting experience.
Is it the kind of film that kids would like?
I mean, yeah,
but they would,
but it also
it's one
felt
for
like,
everyone, is it?
I think so. Yes, yeah, it definitely felt like a lot of the jokes were for us.
Right.
There was one point.
That's what you were telling each other.
Yes, this is for us.
Swirling your
They're
wines
in the
around.
wrong, we said.
Nice. I went and saw it at a preview screening girls' night that the local Hoyt Cinema's putting on. I was stoned out of my mind and went into a massive crowd of women dressed in pink. By the time we got to the cinema, there were so many people that they had to pause one of the trailers, or one of the turn your cell phone off previews that plays before the movie, and they paused it for about 30 minutes to get everyone into the cinema, by the end of which I was significantly less stoned than when I had walked into the cinema. So
that's so funny. They're not used to sold out shows at Hoyt's.
No.
Is that such a rare thing that a cinema sells out? That they don't know what to do.
What do we do?
It was packed though, to be fair. And
that's what a sold out show is, AJ.
Yeah, that's true.
That would happen at cinemas all the time.
It feels like you're blaming me.
Yes.
Speaking of the cinematic experience, I did briefly consider trying to make this Barbenheimer report and do parallel it with the Oppenheimer story, but despite what the internet's telling you, there are no obvious parallels between the most successful fashion doll in the world and the man who become Death, Destroyer of Worlds.
But there's never been 2 movies that are different from each other released on the same day. So that's why it was significant.
You're not gonna participate in the Saw Patrol like Paw Patrol Saw 10.
See, that works better, I guess, as a wordplay or whatever.
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah, it does.
It's true.
But no, I don't think so. I don't think I'm keen. Whereas I'm up for seeing Oppenheimer and Barbie. I don't think I'm super keen on either of Saw or Snow Patrol.
Paw Patrol, but yes.
Or Paw Patrol.
Snow Patrol.
Sorry, a little drive-by at the old Scottish band Snow Patrol there. Not keen on them either.
Not into it.
Well, before Barbie, the doll, the character, came along, the doll industry mainly focused on baby dolls. So little girls would pretend to be mothers because it was the 50s and it was important to tell young girls that they have options like, do you want a girl or a boy? Which you can't actually choose in real life anyway. But in 1956, Ruth Handler, the co-founder of Mattel, the toy company, was traveling Europe with her two children, Barbara and Kenneth. That's right, they're siblings in real life.
Whoa. That's a big twist. That's Star Wars level sort of sibling twist.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And in Germany, she stumbled across something called Build Lily, Bildlilli, which was not a kid's toy, but in fact a doll based off a fictional sex worker who had appeared in the German comic strip newspaper tabloid Bild since 1955. Vox describes the character of Lily, or Build Lily, as a seductive and cheeky gold digger, sweet-talking wealthy men into buying her expensive gifts. After becoming a runaway success in the comic strip, Lily dolls were manufactured and sold to men who'd hang them from their rearview mirrors or display in their office or whatever creepy men in the 50s did with sexy dolls.
So interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That she's a gold digging sex worker, and they're like, "Gonna pop that in the office."
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I understand what's going
I mean,
on.
I love this character.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. But yeah, what a funny thing that Barbie began as a toy for
an object of men's lust, yeah. So Ruth Handler had already been on the lookout for something like this after she'd noticed that her daughter, Barbara, would often assign different jobs to her collection of baby dolls. And she said to her husband and fellow co-founder of Mattel, Elliot Handler, that this could be a gap in the market, that perhaps little girls would appreciate the opportunity to play with dolls that weren't babies. And Elliot was, quote, unenthusiastic about the idea.
A husband in the 50s? Huh.
Yeah.
It's so funny how many times an idea that's gone huge, the first people were like, I don't see it.
Yeah.
There's no market for this, like mobile phones and stuff. No, it's a funny little gimmick, but it'll never catch on.
He presumably became more enthusiastic, however, when Ruth bought a few Lily dolls back from Germany. And as is the case with a lot of great American innovators, Ruth flagrantly stole the Lily concept and redesigned the character into an early version of Barbie, naming the doll after her daughter. The first Barbie dolls went on sale on March 9th, 1959, which is canonically Barbie's birthday. And in 1961, Mattel was sued by Build Lily's rights holder, Lewis and Mark's company, claiming that Mattel had infringed on the patent for Build Lily's hip joint, and also that Barbie was a direct takeoff and copy of Build Lily, while also arguing that Mattel had falsely and misleadingly represented itself as having the original design. Mattel counterclaimed, and the case was settled out of court in 1963, and in 1964, Mattel bought the original copyright and patent rights for the Build Lily doll for $21,600.
Oh.
So, as is the case for a lot of great American innovators, they bought them out! Yes!
Whoa!
Yes!
And that would have been, back then, in the early 60s, that would have been a lot of cash.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Do you think the right amount of cash to sell Barbie? You happy with 22 grand now? You're looking at me so blank, like, fuck you. Why the fuck are you picking me up on this?
I'm just saying that's a lot of money.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm just thinking
for that company
they
to
got
sell.
ripped off.
Yeah, but they probably didn't even realise how big. Nah, Barbie was pretty big very quickly, right?
Yes, that's true.
So they probably knew.
And I guess
but maybe it was just like, it's a losing. We've lost.
They're also like, come on, we came up with a sex doll that's too small to have sex with. We'll take what we can get.
Hey, no, don't
Yeah.
speak for every man out there. You don't know, Matt, you know. It's not all bad for Build Lily, because nowadays a good condition Lily doll is an exceptionally rare collector's item, and you can find one in the Coburg Doll Museum, where she is credited as the grandmother of Barbie. So
Oh.
there you go.
That's sick. Is that canonical?
No, well, it's canonical to real life, maybe not to the actual Barbie.
Would have
mythos.
loved that to be worked into the movie.
No, true, yeah. Like they mentioned,
Barbie's
like a grandma.
German sex worker.
Grandma.
That'd be awesome.
As for the Barbie doll, though, how did she begin? What was her first outfit? I know these are all the questions you'll be asking. The first Barbie doll was marketed as a teenage fashion model and featured Barbie in an iconic black and white zebra striped swimsuit. You see this outfit in the Margot Robbie movie. It's the when the 2001 A Space Odyssey parody, it's also the teaser trailer, she's wearing the first ever Barbie outfit in that. And also, much like how Barbie is represented in the film, there was always variety, as the first version of Barbie came as a blonde or a brunette.
Both kinds.
Both kinds.
Wow.
The redheads on the scrap heap again.
You'll have your day in the sun with Barbie, though, don't worry.
Yeah, but do wear SPF.
We don't. That's not what we want, AJ.
She was also looking to the side instead of front ways, like with modern Barbies. But even in the 1960s, Barbie had boobs, or at least a distinct bust, which would go on to infuriate parents over the years. But Ruth Handler was adamant that the character needed to be portrayed as an adult or a teenager. And it looks like she was right, because Barbie sold over 350,000 dolls in her first year alone, and would go on to sell over 1 billion units in the following decades.
Whoa.
1 billion dolls have been sold.
1 billion.
Fuck, that's crazy.
And they're all biodegradable, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's actually doing the Earth a lot of good.
Yeah. Most of them are working as fertilizer right now.
That's right. Yeah. What can't Barbie do?
She can do anything, including biodegrade. Barbie dolls outnumber people in the United States. A doll is purchased every 2 minutes on average, and Mattel estimates that there are well over 100,000 avid Barbie collectors, with 62-year-old German collector Bettina Dorfman holding the Guinness World Record for largest Barbie collection, a record she set in 2005 with only 2,500 dolls. She has since expanded to what is now estimated to be as many as 18,500 Barbie dolls.
Oh my God.
Hope she's got a big house.
I think her Barbies have a big house and she sleeps in the shed.
Yeah.
A little closer to home, retired paramedic Patsy Carlisle owns New Zealand's largest Barbie collection, boasting a measly 1,600 Barbies, along with 300 loose Barbies, or freed Barbies, as she calls them, which are Barbies not in their boxes.
Oh my God.
She lives with her husband in a 1903 pink villa in Helensville, known as the Pink Palace. But the dolls,
awesome.
the dolls are currently on display in the Wellington Museum. So
Wow.
there we
Has
go.
pink always, because everyone wore pink, or a lot of people seem to wear pink to the Barbie movie. Has pink always been a colour associated with Barbie?
Yeah, I guess it's interesting, isn't it? Because her first outfit was black and white. So
Yeah.
I guess pink must have come in very, very shortly after that one, because it is definitely, maybe the box was pink, because pink is definitely, inarguably, the main colour of Barbie. What I can do, though, and this is something we did when we had guests on our Barbie episode over at Cult Popture, is, Jess, can you tell me what year you were born, if you don't mind?
1990.
1990. I can tell you the Barbie that came out the year you were born.
Yes.
And you have quite a big deal. You have the 1990 version of the Barbie Dream House, which is, of course, the main accessory that would accompany Barbie. The 1991 looks pretty cool. It's a little mansion kind of thing. It wasn't the original Dream House, though. According to House and Garden, the first Dream House was released in 1962, before American women were even allowed to open bank accounts in their name. Now, Matt, when it comes to you, I know that you were born before the invention of plastic, and let alone
that
Barbies.
makes it tricky.
But I
guess my closest one is the sex worker in Germany.
I can tell you the Barbie that came out in 1966, your favourite year.
Oh, fantastic.
Which was the Colour Magic Barbie, which featured yellow hair and an equally vibrant outfit. Isn't that nice?
The Carl Dittrich model, I imagine, who was famously reported and suspended for the grand final. The blonde bombshell himself. But
there you go.
yeah, he'll always be associated with the 66 premiership of the St Kilda Football Club, even though he didn't play in the game. Hey, you know how you said your accent isn't different? This is something that trips me up all the time. Kiwis say woman when they are meaning women. So your plural, you just said then, many women do that or something like that.
Don't say I said that. That sounds like I'm generalising all women. Many women do this.
Say now, were you saying women or woman then?
I don't know. I've lost track now. It's all just one word over here.
There's one woman, and it's Jacinta Ardern.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what the plural of woman is woman.
Yeah.
Because there's only one. Do you have any more women?
How do you say
What about the women?
Women.
I mean, I'm not saying I say it right.
Right.
I'm just saying you say women like I say woman.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Okay, a single woman, many women.
Yeah.
Does that sound different?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure.
Does that appease you? Can I
Might be
move
my
on now?
ears that are the problem. Yes, I'm sorry.
For those interested, the 1993 Barbie, which is the year I was born, is Native American Barbie, which is pretty cool, I guess.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so Barbie does not just stop at dolls, however, with the character and her friends having appeared in numerous books, video games, and TV shows, and of course a very famous 1997 pop song by the Danish dance pop group Aqua. Would you say Aqua or Aqua?
Aqua.
Okay, good. I was worried I'd get another pulled up
Sorry,
again for my accent.
I'm not having a go at all as well. You say make fun. I love it. I love cultural differences, but I also think you've got the best accent in the world, the New Zealand accent. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Very much. But I'm a big fan of Barbie, the song, and Dr. Jones.
Yeah. And Aqua in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, those two Aqua songs that I can recall.
Yeah.
I think that was a ballad as well.
Well,
Surely.
Did you know that 6 months after the release of the song Barbie Girl by Aqua, Mattel sued them? So
That seems fun.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
I feel like people associate it as almost like a piece of like brand ambassador, like it's tied in, but it wasn't. And Mattel argued that the song infringed on Barbie's copyright and trademarks, and that the song's lyrics had ruined the reputation of Barbie, in which the song's lyrics kind of like make her sound like a bimbo, for lack of a better term, something which I don't think is inherently a bad thing, but Mattel in the 1990s thought it was a bad thing. The two parties fought in court for a number of years before it was ruled that the song constituted parody. And both parties dropped their lawsuits against each other. And despite this, while the Mattel-sanctioned 2023 live-action film does not feature the original song, there is a cover/remake of the song by Nicki Minaj, Ice Spice, and Aqua themselves included on the film's soundtrack.
Because I had heard that they weren't in there, which seemed like a weird decision. I didn't realise Aqua were involved in the remake.
Yeah, so there you go.
Which I've heard people say is no good, but,
The song.
it's always hard to cover a classic.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Exactly.
Big shoes to fill.
Exactly. And, yeah, I was going to make a Barbie shoes joke, but it's like, I know
Go and do it.
Well, no, because I know Barbie wears shoes.
Well, you can edit out this bit and just do a really good joke. Take your time.
I don't think it's there. I don't think it's there.
Whenever you're ready, you can do it.
They're not
And
all.
just chop
They're
out
not
all
all
this
winners.
bit and then put in your really good joke about Barbie shoes.
If I think of it later, I will put it. I'll do it here after we have stopped recording and I'm editing, and I'll be like, "Here's the joke," and I'll insert it.
Mr. Black.
And then I'll find a clip of you guys laughing and put that under it as well. So it sounds
You'll struggle to
natural.
find that,
Yeah,
my
good
friend.
luck. Good luck.
Jess Perkins, notoriously a hard laugh.
Stone-faced Perkins.
There are also, of course, the Barbie movies, as I mentioned before, 43 of them, in fact. And Barbie movies are truly my area of expertise, for better or worse. I've seen them all. The first 42 of these films are animated and all clock in at least 61 minutes, which was our threshold for when we covered them, was like, if it's over an hour, it counts. So there are purists out there that'll say, like, there was a 45-minute animated Barbie movie in the 80s. We did watch it, but not for the podcast. We only counted it for over an hour. The animated Barbie movies began in 2001 with the release of Barbie in the Nutcracker, and the most recent outing, Barbie, Skipper, and the Big Babysitting Adventure, releasing earlier this year in March. The movies were basically started because as Mattel was developing and growing across the years, they were like, people aren't playing with toys anymore, but they are being placed in front of TVs to watch the same movie on repeat. So they started making these movies to tie in to the toys. They're all made for either the straight-to-DVD market or later for streaming. All very cheap-looking CGI animation, very ropey in the early years. Are you guys at all familiar with the animated Barbie movies?
Yeah, I haven't sat down and watched them, but I've seen enough sort of clips and stuff. You're right, the CGI is average.
Okay.
I reckon you might recognize bits and pieces of it, Matt.
I feel like
you'll recognize the style.
I can picture cheap CGI.
That's exactly. Yeah. Well, that's it. That's Barbie.
Isn't that funny that such a huge brand would cheap out on something like that?
Well, I think it must be a value for money thing that they're like.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've seen any of those? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen them.
Yeah,
I've seen all of them.
You've seen them all.
It sounds like, they must have, but it sounds like they started doing a Nutcracker, like a ballet.
Yeah.
And then they've ended with a babysitter adventure.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to go anywhere, I'm guessing.
You can be anything. That's the Barbie motto.
You can nut crack or babysit.
Yeah. And anywhere in between.
And within the Barbie canon, there are also sub-canons with, as you said, a lot of the films are ballet or fairy tale inspired, with Barbie characters, but you've also got the Fairytopia sub-series. You've got the Mermaid Tale sub-series. You've got the Barbie and Her Sisters sub-series, and so on and so forth. All of these have...
Barbie's got sisters.
She
Barbie's
does.
got
She
sisters.
does. For the most part, these films were all part of the wider marketing campaign to sell the dolls. For example, if you bought your daughter Barbie Fashion Fairy Tale, the toy set, it comes with a DVD of Barbie a Fashion Fairy Tale. Oh, cool. And what's this? In the movie, Barbie has a cute animal character. Well, guess what? You can buy that too. You can buy a plush of it. And it was very successful. We ended up interviewing one of the animators of Barbie, some of the Barbie movies as well, and they talked all about that sort of stuff as well. So it's a whole institution. There is a really passionate fan base for the animated Barbie films.
Really? Oh, that's cool. Even though they're just throwaway things to try to flog dolls.
Yeah.
They actually, people love them.
Yeah.
I imagine the animator you were talking to is probably fully stressed out from being overworked. He's probably done every single one of the movies back to back.
Well, they did a bunch of them in the middle, I think, and then moved on to bigger and greater things. But they actually had very nice things to say about the process and
Well, that's nice.
I did say he. Obviously, women can be animators too.
Non-binary people can be animators too.
I mean, honestly, the list goes on.
Yeah.
Nearly anyone can animate if they put their mind to it.
Just like Barbie, there's probably an animator Barbie doll.
But in this
Definitely.
case, it was a man, wasn't it?
No, it was a non-binary person. You took a risk and you picked the one that could get you in most trouble.
Well, I thought that would be the funniest way to go, but not the way you played it. Jesus Christ!
If it makes you feel better, Matt, almost all of these movies were directed by men. If that helps.
Well, that's surprising to me. Men don't normally get those kind of gigs.
I'm not going to pretend like these movies are particularly good or tell you that there's, hidden value in them. Some of them, worst movies I've ever seen. But when watching them, we decided to be like open and aware to the fact that they were not made for us. And we began to like critically analyze them from that kind of angle. So there are a couple of standout Barbie movies I can recommend if you guys or any of the listeners were looking to dip a toe, maybe in prep for the new movie. Firstly, if you're a Barbie movie fan, this will come as no surprise, but 2004's Barbie, Princess and the Pauper, directed by William Lau, is widely considered to be the godfather of the franchise. It is the fourth animated Barbie release, coming out after Barbie of Swan Lake and before Barbie and the Magic of Pegasus. It is a gender-swapped musical adaptation of the 1881 Mark Twain novel The Prince and the Pauper, in which a young prince and a young peasant discover they look identical and swap lives to see how the other half live. Here it is done with a blonde Barbie and a brunette Barbie. One is a princess.
But other than that, they look identical?
They look identical. They're the same CGI models.
How the other half live. This is like trading places, right? Which one came first?
Oh, I mean, having done a podcast where we cover so many sequels, The Prince and the Pauper is a foundation of a lot of sequels. Like, there are so many franchises that have a Prince and the Pauper kind of sequel hidden in them somewhere. So
it's I love that there is a movie amongst all this that is seen as being better than the rest.
Oh, there's a couple.
Is it good compared to movies or just good compared to Barbie movies?
So, great question. And it's one of these things where it's like, if you had put a Disney animated film sized budget into the animation, you wouldn't have to do that much with the story or the script.
Right.
Or the songs especially, which is one of the reasons this movie is so beloved. There are some actually pretty catchy songs in this film, including I Am a Girl Like You, which is sung between the two Barbies when they meet each other. That's sort of the breakout hit from the film. The villain in the film is played by Martin Short, who sings a song called How Can I Refuse? And that's a good one. And I'm also quite partial to the opening song, which is called Free, in which both Barbies sing about how stifling their individual lives are and how they long to be free. This is my favourite lyric in the song. It says, "You would think that I'm so lucky that I have so many things. I'm realising that every present comes with strings."
Oh, that is good.
That's good, right?
Yeah, that makes you think.
A bit tone deaf from rich Barbie singing about how tough her life is, whilst poor Barbie is also. It's like, come on, read the room, mate.
Yeah.
You know?
All these gifts I get.
Yeah.
Just heaps, by the way. Oh, my God. Counts.
Well, firstly, I don't know where to put them all.
Yeah, I've got a whole gift room.
Yeah.
Which is taking up precious space.
And I'm having to buy another house just for gifts.
just to house my gifts. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
My life is hard.
Geez, I'm jealous. And you don't even have rooms. That must be so freeing.
That must be so nice.
I'd also like to mention the 13th film in the series, which is 2008's Barbie and the Diamond Castle, directed by Gino Nichelle. This is an original story about two Barbies living together in a cottage in a fairy tale forest who set off together to find the mysterious Diamond Castle. This one is also a musical and features some more bangers like Connected and Two Voices, One Song.
You mean a duet?
Yeah.
What a convoluted way to say it's a duet.
If you heard the song, Matt, you'd get into it, though. You wouldn't be back talking it.
You'd love it.
You'd love it.
Honestly, I can get into any music. I've realised that over the last few years doing different music podcasts. If I have an open mind to it, I can love nearly any song, I reckon.
Sure,
Yeah, wow.
But I think that's probably true with a lot of people. It's like it's hard to go into to like something that clearly isn't very good. But if you want to like it, I reckon you can.
Well, I also think that when you're in the middle of watching 37 Barbie movies and the song's a little bit catchy, you're like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Finally, some quality.
So Barbie and the Diamond Castle, it's mainly notable in the community for what many perceive to be an implicitly queer subtext to the film, with many believing that the two Barbies are in fact a pair of cottagecore lesbians. There are two male romantic interests in the film, but they are swiftly written out of the story when they are carried away by a rainbow. So, and from memory,
I didn't know rainbows could do that.
I don't think they appear in the
amazing.
rest of the film either. So it's widely considered to be the gay Barbie movie, and very popular in the community. If you're looking for a fucked up Barbie experience, though, you need to check out 2006's The Barbie Diaries, directed by Eric Fogel, which is the 8th film in the franchise, plus the first and for a long time only contemporary set film, focusing on Barbie attending high school, and the film looks insane, you guys. It is some of the most cheap, off-putting and upsetting animation you'll ever see, widely considered to be the worst film in the series. So that's the Barbie Diaries.
Right. I'm surprised they didn't go with more contemporary stuff. I guess that dates, whereas you said it in the olden days, it'll never date.
Yeah.
Predate.
Well, a lot of the early ones, so like Barbie and the Nutcracker, for example, begins with Barbie and her little sister in a ballet studio, and she's like, well, have I ever told you the story about the Nutcracker?
Yep.
But the more recent ones, like the one I said before, the most recent one is Barbie and her Skipper and the Big Babysitting Adventure. That's a modern day
Running
story.
out of ideas. Barbie, Skipper, and the Big Babysitting Adventure.
It's too long a title.
Yeah.
I'd edit that down a little
Just
bit.
call it a duet.
Agreed.
But so they must be releasing, what, 2 or 3 a year?
Yeah, pretty much. Since 2001, yeah.
I can't
Wow.
believe the animator had time to chat to you.
Well, they didn't work for Mattel anymore, but
Okay.
it was
Burnt out.
yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Having seen all 42 of these films, and now having seen Greta Gerwig's 2023 film starring Margot Robbie as Barbie, I can confirm that they had pretty much zero influence on the live action film. I don't think Greta Gerwig has seen the animated Barbie movies. But in regards to my personal experience, watching and analysing 43 films that are so obviously not aimed at my demographic has helped me to appreciate more media not made for me, which is pretty close to some of the themes and conversations within the 2023 live action film. So it wasn't, I need to tell myself that it wasn't all for nothing.
Yeah.
Well, it's given you something to talk to us about.
That's true.
I'm kind of disappointed that Greta Gerwig didn't even, at least do a few nods to some of these obscure characters. That would have been fun for the fandom to see a reference to the worst movie you've ever seen, you know?
I think that, so...
Or a couple of guys being carried away by a rainbow in the background at some point.
I mean, I've only seen the Greta Gerwig movie once, so maybe there's some hidden things in the background that I didn't notice. But for my money, the only vaguely recognizable thing, having seen all of them, is that one of the Barbies is a mermaid, and when she's credited in the film, it refers to her as like the Mermaid Power is like the name of her toy, and I've seen the movie that Mermaid Power is based off.
Okay, well, that's pretty
That's a
good.
deep cut.
Yeah, I like that.
A live-action Barbie movie had obviously been on the cards for years, and since 2009, Mattel had been pretty keen to get their flagship gal on the silver screen, with the film and its concept being radically adjusted over the years. Notable names like Amy Schumer and Anne Hathaway were at times attached to play Barbie at different stages, and Juno and Jennifer's Body screenwriter Diablo Cody, as well as Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins coming and going from the project. Names like that. And then Margot Robbie was officially cast as Barbie, but also was given the role of a producer, and it was actually her who nabbed Lady Bird / Little Woman director Greta Gerwig for the film.
It sounds like she had a big role to play in it. Like there were, I heard that she, was directly dealing with Aqua at one point, trying to get the song involved and stuff like that.
Yeah, she did way more for it than just played Barbie, which is awesome, yeah. Greta Gerwig agreed to do it upon the stipulation that her husband, Marriage Story writer-director Noah Baumbach, could write the screenplay with her.
Oh, I thought you were going to say...
Could be Ken.
on the stipulation that he can't be involved at all, okay? I need some time away. We've worked together a lot in the past, and I just need a break.
I just need some Greta time.
Don't tell him I said this. I'm saying to him that I'm saying, please, can I have him involved? And you're saying no, okay? No, that's much nicer, I guess.
Yeah, are you guys at all familiar with Greta Gerwig or Noah Baumbach?
Not as much Noah, but I've seen Little Women and other stuff that Greta's done.
I've heard of Greta Gerwig, and I remember Little Women getting a lot of love,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen. I saw the 90s version of it
Yep.
at the cinemas. Remember feeling sad throughout.
Okay.
Cool.
Is it a sad movie?
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad in places.
Parts of it, yeah.
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 I think Beth dies.
Okay.
One of them dies, or they all
I
die?
love
Spoilers.
you barely remember this movie, but you remember the name of the character.
Yeah, I remember having a crush on Beth when I watched it, and then she died, and I've never loved again.
I think that should replace How Good Is It to Be Alive as your opening.
I've never loved again.
Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach are both pretty out of the box choices for the director for a Barbie movie creative team. They both hail from the mumblecore film movement from the early to mid 2000s, which is a subgenre of film mostly characterized by its distinct lack of budget and often an improvised script, rudimentary camera work. I could list off some films, but not to be the movie buff hipster, you've probably never heard of them. They're very.
What are the biggest ones?
Frances Ha is a big one. Hannah Takes the Stairs. Squid and the Whale. Heard of any of these?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
They're great. It's
I've heard of squids, I've heard of whales.
I've heard of the name Hannah.
Hannah Takes the Stairs. I'm picturing, is it literally just her, the whole, an hour and a half of her
It's set in a stairwell.
Yeah, set in a stairwell.
wandering up the stairs?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
They're very small movies and very I want to say character focused and story focused, but they're not even really that. It's almost just there's a very loose narrative. They're basically very easy to make, and that's I think why a lot of them got made. It's 'cause
And they're set in a day usually,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They're
yeah.
sort of. Who's that actor who's sort of famous for mumblecore movies? He's in The Morning Wars.
Mark Duplass.
Mark Duplass, yeah. He's who I think of when I think of mumblecore.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Is he in any of those movies you said?
Yeah, I think he's in. Oh God, is he in?
Doesn't matter.
Frances Ha. So
Sorry, AJ. Question without notice.
pretty much the polar opposite of the popcorn blockbuster. Anyway, that's what mumblecore is. And I personally believe that the mumblecore background is probably key to why the 2023 film is so successful, or at least why it's so weird and why its sense of humor is so strange. It is a character-focused indie comedy in the clothes of a high-budget blockbuster in a lot of ways. And this meta approach to the film and to the Barbie brand is all through the film. It depicts different versions of Barbie living in some kind of alternate universe named Barbie Land. When pitching this approach to Warner Brothers, Margot Robbie compared it to Jurassic Park and jokingly claimed that the film would make $1 billion. And guess what happened a few days ago?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
After only 17 days since it premiered, it is now the highest grossing film to be ever directed by one woman, supplanting Wonder Woman in 2017, which made $821.8 million global at the box office. There are, I think there's maybe movies that have made more than Barbie that have two directors, and one of them is a woman, I think Frozen 2.
There's not that many movies that get up over $1 billion, are there?
No, there's a $1 billion club, and it's your Avatars and your Avengers and Star Wars and stuff. Yeah.
And now Barbie, which is pretty sick.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, I love it.
And it's still it's not looking like that's going to end anytime soon, I'm guessing. I mean, I still haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
There
another
must be
$35.
others like me.
That's $35 right
Yeah,
there.
there you go.
I don't think I've got any pink clothes
No.
to wear, but I'm going to have to get myself a pink.
Yeah.
You could
hoodie
go
or
as a
something.
Ken.
Ooh, I could go as a Ken.
Yep.
Which Ken do you think I should go? Kenny Callender, the old horse racing commentator?
Yeah, I think you should, yeah. Yep.
So all this talk about Barbie, guys, but who is Barbara Millicent Roberts? Her fictional biography has changed and adapted over the years, but there are plenty of traits and details that have remained consistent. Barbie is usually somewhere between 16 and 19 years old. She has lived in a few different American cities, including Willows, Wisconsin, and New York, though these days is typically depicted as living in Malibu, California, with her parents George and Margaret, neither of whom have ever been issued as dolls, which I thought was
That's interesting.
sad. Yeah,
Her sisters have, but not her parents.
yep.
Are they her parents' names?
No. George and Margaret are the names.
I mean, sorry, are they the real
no,
parents' names?
that was Ruth and Elliot.
Okay, I remember that. I was just checking that you remembered.
And it's interesting that she has had some really high up jobs, like president, and she's 16 to 19.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? She's done so much.
She's not getting my vote. That's for sure. No offense, kid, but you got to get some life experience.
Life experience? Have you seen her CV?
Let's start with a degree.
Tell you what, she must be a millennial jumping around that many jobs.
Yeah, pick one. Be a master of one. Master of. Yeah.
It's funny that I'm sure I've heard this before, but it still doesn't feel right that Barbie is short for Barbara.
Yeah.
Barbie feels like its own name.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a shortening of Barbara.
Well, there's also people are talking about now because the movie has been so popular that, like, is Barbara going to make a comeback? Because Barbara, I hope I'm not offending anyone here, but Barbara's like not typically a young person's name, you know?
No. Some of those old people names have made a big comeback in the last couple of decades. Like Jack is a really big for like 20-something-year-olds in Australia, I reckon.
Right.
And that was like a World War sort of name.
Yeah, true.
And yeah, so I think the names do make a comeback.
Jack feels a bit timeless. I feel like there's always Jacks.
Right.
But like names like Edith and some of
Edith's
those
great.
really old names are coming back. So yeah, Barbara will make a return at some point. I mean, you don't hear baby Jessicas anymore, but that'll turn around.
Yeah, like at the moment, I mean, we're working towards it where like the babies being born now are going to hear Matt and Jess like we hear Gertrude and
100%.
Philistine.
Yeah,
That's not one.
Gertrude and Philistine.
Philistine.
Phyllis.
No, Philistine. The old lady down the shop.
Dot. You know?
Yeah.
So Barbie's parents, they've never been dolls, but they do feature a lot or not a lot actually, but they have been in other pieces of Barbie media. Barbie herself is the oldest of what is usually 4 Roberts children, though there have been more who have chillingly disappeared or been retired over the years.
God. You think they've been taken out and killed?
Yes, I do. I actually.
Can I have a guess at the 4?
So there's it's a rotating roster, but there's 4 constants that you can guess. Yeah,
because there's Skipper and Stacy, but then there's one that's like, is it Chelsea or something like that?
I'm so impressed, Jess. Is
it Chelsea?
Well, it is Chelsea, but you paused there, and that made sense because Chelsea was originally named Kelly.
Kelly!
Whoa!
Yes, I had a Kelly.
Nice.
Why are they changing names from Kelly to
Well, how
like-
common is the name Kelly compared to Chelsea? Maybe it's just
too
updating
common, Kelly.
I think
And
less
Kelly was
common.
Kelly was like the youngest one.
Right.
So she was little, whereas like I had a Stacy she was a gymnast Stacy. So she was a smaller doll than Barbie, but she was in a little like gym leotard, and she came with uneven bars and little like clips on her wrist so she could hang from the bars and you could make her do like little flips and stuff. It was
I had no
sick.
idea there were siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So-
really interesting one with Stacey as well, because obviously the Simpsons parody is Malibu Stacey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you're saying that Barbie's now based in Malibu and her sister's name's Stacey. So I wonder how they came to that.
There's the episode of The Simpsons, like Lisa versus Malibu Stacy, where she
Yeah.
meets the creator, and it's like a pretty direct reference to what Ruth Handler was like as well.
Right. Lisa the Lionheart.
Yeah, Lisa Lionheart. Yeah. So Skipper was first introduced in 1964, Stacey first introduced in 1990, and Chelsea/Kelly introduced in 1995. Though, as you were sort of alluding to there, Jess, they're basically brunette Barbie, tween Barbie, and kid Barbie. Like, I think because having seen them in the movies now and seen that their personalities are pretty indistinct, I think it's maybe just more like, do you want to play with Barbie, but like a little version?
Yeah. A more travel-friendly version.
Yeah. Other siblings who are no longer with us include Barbie's twin siblings Tootie and Todd, who had seamless bendy bodies with internal wires. Barbie has a cousin named Francie Fairchild, who was invented for the mod era, and another cousin Jazzy, who was sort of like a high school toy line, and she was the main focus of that. There's also Christine or Chrissy, Barbie's little baby sister. These are all missing, presumed dead. Presumed by me.
I'm picturing the backyard of the
Barbie
playhouse
dream
or
house.
whatever. There's a row of shallow graves.
Yeah.
That
next
would
to
be
each other.
such a great toy set. Can you imagine getting the pet cemetery in the back of the Barbie dream
That's
house?
the kind of thing that Greta Gerwig should have been working with.
Absolutely.
Just in the far background, just a few little mounds of dirt in the backyard.
Yeah.
There is, of course, also one Kenneth Sean Carson, or simply just Ken. He is Barbie's on and off again boyfriend, who was originally introduced in 1959, so just after the original Barbie. Ken canonically met Barbie on the set of a TV commercial, and like Barbie, has held a myriad of different jobs since he was introduced, including... No, I won't do all. He's been... But, you got astronaut, saxophonist, and most recently, Beach is his job in the 2023 film.
Beach.
Yeah.
That's fun.
His and Barbie's relationship has also changed over the years. While he is mostly depicted as her boyfriend, he's also been her best friend. Pour one out for all the lost souls there.
Ken got friend-zoned.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy, but of course she doesn't want him.
She wants the bad boys. She wants the Trevors. Are there other boys?
Yeah.
Is there a Trevor?
There's no Trevor.
Damn it. Ken and Trevor goes well together.
These themes are all in the 2023 movie as well.
You're going to love
great.
the movie.
Yeah.
Feels like I'm writing it right now.
He's also been her neighbour and her business partner. And in 2004, he officially became her ex. Do you guys remember this? I remember this.
Oh, yes.
It was announced by Mattel that the couple had split, and Vice President of Marketing at Mattel, Russell Aarons, saying, Barbie and Ken feel it's time to spend some quality time apart. Like other celebrity couples, their Hollywood romance has come to an end.
Man, you must feel so ridiculous having
board
board meetings about this. We need some publicity. What can we do?
Split it up.
I don't want to jump the gun here, but I think it's time to split up Barbie and Ken. And everyone's going like there's a spit take.
Yeah. You're crazy, Darren.
There's no way. Well, they won't they? That's what keeping people involved.
Well, I mean, there's still some dramatic tension here because after they broke up, Barbie got a new boyfriend. Do you guys? this is a bit closer to home for you guys. So you might. Do you remember this from 2004 at all? She dated an Australian surfer named Blaine Gordon.
Blaine.
Which is what an American would name an Australian surfer, I think.
Blaine. And we're all surfers, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
I know
also,
I am, and you are.
Well, yes, but
So
we're
small sample size, but I think we can extrapolate that to everyone. The
we
surfer.
are champion surfers. But also, so Barbie and Ken break up after decades together, 2004. Same year, she's dating somebody else.
Immediately.
Barbie, come on.
Both part of the same announcement, which tells you there was a little bit of overlap.
For sure.
Oh my God, Barbie, I'm so disappointed in you.
You can be anything, including a disappointment.
Hey, we don't know. Maybe Ken was cool with it. You know,
That's true.
We don't know what was going on behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors.
We don't know what these inanimate pieces of plastic were thinking behind the scenes. Yeah. She dated the surfer. You could buy dolls of Blaine. He looks like what an American would depict an Australian surfer as like. But much like Barbie's presumably dead siblings, he was discontinued after 2 years when Barbie and Ken got back together in 2006.
It's like, isn't that how manipulated we were?
Blaine looks fucked, to be honest. That is an ugly doll.
Matt's gonna Google Blaine Gordon and see like himself as a Barbie doll now.
I also had no idea that people had that they all had surnames. So Barbie's surname's what? Gordon? No,
Barbie's
Blaine.
Roberts. Barbie Roberts. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he does.
That's not a good doll.
Big lips. Oh my god, look at this middle part he's got going on there.
This is what I believed everyone in Australia looked like. Am I incorrect in that?
He's got a middle part bowl haircut. I love it. He's got Sandy from the OC level eyebrows.
He's got like his hair's quite streaky. Like he's put blonde foils through it.
You know what? Like Australian man in what year? 2004?
Yeah,
I think this isn't far off.
It's not far off.
This is far off.
Yeah, it's not bad.
They've done their research, I reckon. And they're also right to kill him off. We did it here too.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all pretty glad that Facebook wasn't quite around at that point and there's not too many photos of the era.
Well, speak for yourself. I'm a bit younger than you and I have a lot of Facebook statuses that I find myself deleting whenever I'm looking at my memories. Yep. Right at the cusp. I was 17 when Facebook became a big thing, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but a few 17-year-old statuses being like,
yep. I go through delete every time I get a memory of here's what you wrote 12 years ago. I'm like, I don't need to see this. Let's just delete.
This could get me cancelled.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that one side where you're like, oh my God, how naive was I? But then the other side where you've just realised something that everyone does at that age and you're like, all right, guys, I got some truth to spread here.
Yeah.
And you know who's a good example?
I mean, that's not what I've done, but...
You know who's a good example of what this looks like on a global scale? Is Jaden Smith. Because Jaden Smith got social media when he was like 9 years old, and you can find like tweets from him from like 2007 where he's like, "How are our eyes real if trees aren't real?" or something like that. Like real like pseudo philosophical. Yeah.
Who's Jaden Smith?
Will Smith's son.
Will Smith's son. Yeah. Jaden. That's a modern-ish name.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not getting an old man named Jaden. You know?
Yeah. So there are literally hundreds of other friends, acquaintances, associates, pets, and alternative versions of Barbie herself who have graced toy stores over the years. Each one of those characters that I've just mentioned have their own supporting cast. There's too many dolls to mention, but I will go into a few of the more enduring non-Barbie dolls outside of who I've already mentioned, which would include Brooklyn Barbie, who is an African-American Barbie introduced in 2021 to tie into the animated film Barbie Big City, Big Dreams, a film I've seen. Now, this is not just a racially diverse alternative to white Barbie, but an entirely different character who happens to share the exact same first, middle, and surname as the OG Barbie. The pair become best friends in the film and refer to each other as Malibu and Brooklyn affectionately.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. There is also Alan, released in 1964 and marketed as Ken's buddy, who could fit all his clothes. Alan is portrayed by Michael Cera in the new film, where it is heavily implied he is gay and absolutely in love with the Kens. And this is paying off like a long-held piece of fan speculation in the Barbie collectors community. There's also Margaret Sherwood, or Midge, who we talked about at the start of the episode. This doll was introduced in 1963 and marketed as both Barbie's best friend and, for a time, the wife of Alan, but the two are no longer depicted as being married, curiously.
He shaved off his beard.
Midge is portrayed in the 2023 film by promising young woman director Emerald Fennell, which depicts the character as eternally pregnant in reference...
That feels a bit patronising. Oh, she's a promising young woman director. She's made movies, mate.
Yeah, that's
okay.
true. I really need to take a step back and...
Where do you get off? And sorry to step up at you here, but as a feminist, I think sometimes it's important that, you speak up.
Yeah.
Just sorry, please.
Yeah, Jess, I'm just interested to hear Jess's thoughts on this.
No, well, Jess can have her turn, but I'm just saying I think it's important that women are respected and given their space to flourish and grow, and you don't have to patronise them.
Yeah.
Oh, Jess, please.
No, but I agree with what Matt's saying.
Please.
Yeah, so in the movie, she is eternally pregnant, referred to as like creepy by some of the Mattel executive characters, and this is of course in reference to the 2003 Happy Family line of dolls, which you bought your sister as a Christmas present, Matt, in which the Midge doll came with a removable magnetic womb, which her unborn child was placed inside. This led to some controversy over the fact that Midge was encouraging teenage pregnancy because, remember, these characters are supposed to be like 17. So
Yeah.
It's funny also, like, it's encouraging it. Oh, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to have a removable belly.
It's also, I guess, just creepy to have a utero baby you can take it on and off.
It's, and, like, it's a fetus, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But wait, was it made until the 90s? I'm starting to think maybe I bought a knockoff version.
That's even creepier somehow, right? Like,
I couldn't have afforded an official Barbie when I was a kid, surely.
it was 2003 when this came out, so...
Oh, wow.
2003? Oh, no, hang on. This page I'm looking at says it came out in 63.
Okay, maybe Midge came out in 63, but the pregnant version of her was 2000.
Oh, right. Oh, it was earlier than that. So it was like, or have I just made up a memory? That has happened before, but I reckon this would have been in the mid to late 90s.
Interesting.
Oh, I'm going to have to message my sister later.
Yeah.
Actually, she'll be listening.
Yeah.
You message me.
Pregnant Midge is far from the only controversies the Barbie brand has faced over the years. Let's do it. Let's get into Barbie controversies. In 2006, we had Tanner, who was Barbie's pet Labrador, who came with a shitting functionality, in which you could feed it.
Is that what they branded it as?
Yeah. You could feed it dog food, and then the dog food would come out its butt. But then the same plastic piece of dog food, you'd just feed it back to it. So it's like it's a human centipede, but a dog version.
That is, and these people were worried about encouraging teen pregnancy. So what are they worried about here?
Eating shit, kids eating their own shit.
Jesus.
The dog does feature in the 2023 film. Kate McKinnon plays Weird Barbie and has a pet Labrador, which I believe is intended to be Tanner. In 1993, a line of Barbie dolls were released under the name Earring Magic, which featured several of the Barbie characters wearing earrings, including Ken, which sparked a very 1993 controversy over Ken's sexuality. Originally designed in order to make Ken cooler, the earring in the doll's left ear instead sparked a media frenzy, with everyone from Jay Leno to the New York Times commenting on Ken coming out, something which at the time was meant pejoratively, but was actually embraced by many in the gay community, who quickly purchased as many of the scandalous dolls as they could. The pressure eventually led to Earring Magic Ken being discontinued, but is now considered a valuable collector's item, being displayed in several niche museums across America and believed to be the highest-selling Ken doll of all time.
Wow. God, that's ridiculous.
How does Ken sell in comparison to Barbie? I imagine it's way lower.
Yeah, it's way lower. Yeah, but still, yeah. I think next to Barbie, he'll be the most popular doll.
Yeah, right.
I would imagine.
Even ahead of Blaine?
I imagine Blaine's probably a very rare collector's item at this point as well now.
Even ahead of Kelly/Chelsea?
Come on.
It's crazy.
What's going on?
Earring
This fandom is weird.
Earring Magic Ken also appears in the background of the 2023 film, portrayed by Tom Staunton. So he's there. You can spot a Ken with an earring. In 2009, Ken had another scandal when Mattel released Sugar Daddy Ken as part of their adult-aimed Palm Beach line. Ken is depicted here in a green printed blazer, white pants, and a tiny white dog on a pink leash named Sugar, making Ken Sugar's daddy, I think, is the idea. Yeah. But people were obviously uncomfortable with this, and the doll was eventually discontinued in 2012. But guess who appears in the background of the 2023 film? You can spot Sugar Daddy Ken being portrayed by Would I Lie to You host Rob Brydon in the 2023
So good.
film.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, Sugar
That's
Daddy
a fun
Ken.
cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the connection there? Where's Greta Gerwig's from America? Mm-hmm. Well, I wonder how the Rob Brydon connection came about. That's fun.
Well, I mean, it's an incredibly diverse cast in the film, and there's people from all over the show are in it. It's a massive cast, so yeah.
I guess Margot Robbie would have more knowledge of English stuff, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, most possibly.
Yeah. Growing Up Skipper was another dicey Mattel release in 1975, featuring Barbie's younger sister Skipper, who had a twistable arm. And what do we want to guess happened when you twist the arm?
Yeah, have a guess, Matt. She's growing up.
When people twist my arm, I'll have one more beer. One
Correct!
more.
That's what Growing Up Skipper did.
Twist her arm. Oh, I don't know.
You'll hate this.
Is she gonna shit?
No, she doesn't shit.
I write a passage for everyone growing up.
Yeah,
Shitters.
that's when you know you're a woman.
What? Her bust comes in? It does.
It grows out. Yeah, she goes a little bit taller.
Do you like how I phrased that there?
Yeah, it's nice.
An awkward old man?
Yeah.
What, her bust comes in?
Her bust has come in on the eve of her 14th birthday.
She is also in the film, portrayed by Hannah Kalik Brown. So there's no one escapes the background cast of the Barbie film.
I love how many cameos are in this.
There's a lot.
Exactly. Other notable Barbie controversies include the 1992 Teen Talk Barbie, which came with pre-recorded dialogue you could hear upon pushing a button. Some of these lines included, "Will we ever have enough clothes?" and "I love shopping," and "Want to have a pizza party?" Promoting the dangerous stereotypes of women loving clothes, shopping, and pizza.
Very dangerous things.
Exactly. The doll also could say, "Math class is hard," which led to criticism from the American Association of University Women. So how the Teen Talk Barbie worked was there were 270 phrases recorded, but each doll was only came with 4. So
wow.
this meant that spread across their sales, there were 216 million possible combinations of 4-word phrases. And I like to think that means there was one doll that said all 4 of these controversial phrases. So.
But I also agree with all of them, and I am a woman.
Yeah.
What?
And so I feel represented by that Barbie.
Exactly.
Which Barbie do you feel represented by?
I love pizza, the talking one.
Oh, yeah. You do talk, don't
Math is hard.
You do. For the listeners, I'm doing the yap, yap, yap symbol with my hand.
Yeah.
And as a feminist, I think it's my right to do that.
Yeah, the feminists zoned out for a bit while we're talking about a female Barbie that talks.
Oh, bit much.
Yeah, I'm just gonna zone out for a little bit. Come back when we're talking about something I'm interested in.
Well, in October 1992, Mattel announced that Teen Talk Barbie would no longer say math class is hard and offered to swap anyone who had a math class is hard doll.
Oh my god!
No, I switched over. Math class is great.
Yeah, in a different voice.
Math class is enjoyable. Math class is
My favourite.
math class is challenging but rewarding.
Well, according to The Only Guide to Barbie Lore You Will Ever Need, which is a Slash Film article written earlier this year by BJ Colangello, which I was interviewed for.
Whoa!
A second wave feminism group called the Barbie Liberation Organization made mainstream headlines in the 1990s after switching the voice boxes of Barbies and G.I. Joes in stores to showcase the ridiculous gender stereotypes. This meant G.I. Joe dolls were saying things like, "The beach is a fun place for summer," and the Teen Talk Barbie was saying, "Vengeance is mine."
Gotta tell you, I relate more to the Teen Talk Barbie there.
Yeah.
Have you become somewhat of a Barbie expert in New Zealand? You're being interviewed for articles. Has that happened much since you did the binge?
So because the new movie has come out has been the main reason that I've been reached out to. No, that was from someone discovered the podcast and emailed us. I was on the news in New Zealand talking about Barbie, and that's because Richard, my podcast co-host, works for the news, so he was like, "They're wanting me to do a story on Barbie. Can I get you to say a few things, and we'll credit you as a Barbie expert?"
Don't undercut it. Edit that bit out. Just say you're on the news.
No, it's still cool. And also, my other job when I'm not editing Do Go On is I am the social media video editor for Letterboxd, and so I answered some interview questions for them and then also made a video for them as well.
Letterboxd, what is that? Some sort of a cat feces related website?
Very good. Very good.
All right, sorry, I've been biting my tongue so much.
Hey, well,
you've said so many things funny.
It's actually a New Zealand company, Letterboxd. It's global, but it's founded in New Zealand. So
previous guest Alexi Toliopoulos is prolific on there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is, and I know that listeners are yelling at their iPods about the irony of me making fun of how anyone talks.
Yeah, do you want to give us some French again? Because I had to edit that.
Parlez-vous français?
And was that the 3 hour 45 episode? Was that the really long one?
I think you trimmed it down to
it was.
the 320 something.
Yeah.
So you've heard over 3 hours of Matt's French.
Yeah.
I think you've done enough.
That was. So usually, I edit your guys' episodes over a couple of days. That was one where it was clear my schedule. I need to sit down and edit a 4-hour podcast.
Did you say to your secretary, clear my schedule?
Yeah, schedule.
Absolutely.
Cancel my 2 o'clock.
Get me some lunch.
Yeah, get me some lunch.
I'm going to eat at my desk.
And coffee, stat.
In 2014, Mattel received criticism over the tie-in book I Can Be a Computer Engineer, in which Barbie is depicted as being inept at computers and requiring her 2 male friends to help her after she infects her laptop with a virus on a USB device. So
I think that's empowering because, we hear a lot about...
empowering for men, getting asked to help our female friends.
Oh, okay. So women can't be inept on the computer? It feels like you're really narrowing what a woman can be, AJ.
You're right.
That's just not what I'm about.
No, fair
Women
enough.
can be anything, including inept at computers.
The 1964 Barbie Babysits line. This is one of the bigger foibles in the Barbie history.
I can't wait till this makes it to the big screen. Maybe with Skipper involved somehow, and they go on an adventure.
No, it's not quite that. The doll was packaged with another problematic accessory, a miniature book titled "How to Lose Weight," and when you turn the book over, it says "Don't eat" on the back.
Yeah.
The book reappeared again in the 1965 Slumber Party line, which doubled down by including a pink bathroom scales permanently set at 110 pounds.
Wait, when did this come out?
64 and 65.
Right, because I thought at first I was picturing it in the modern day, thinking that was a joke.
No.
It was probably just quite sincere back then.
God.
Yeah.
I also had to convert pounds to kilos there for a second. Set to 49 kilos.
Oh, that's Dave Warnicki's comedy weight. Isn't that what he used to say he weighed? I think he weighs more than that.
It was
now.
the low
He's let himself
50s,
go.
I think.
Started eating.
These two Barbie sets are, of course, very rare collector's items now, with just the tiny controversial accessories themselves fetching up to $125 each on eBay. So people love it. People will collect, especially if something's been cancelled. People want it even more, I think.
Yeah.
I bring all of this up, of course, because really Barbie's biggest and most controversial aspect has always been her potentially harmful presentation of femininity, with her unrealistic body standards being criticised right from the beginning. Right from 1959, it was always part of the discourse. There is now other discourse coming out in that article that I was interviewed for. BJ Conjallo talks about how a lot of people feel a lot of girls who grew up with Barbie were very adept at separating real life from the representation of the dolls. And there are, I just want to mention that there are some schools of thought that the unrealistic body standard thing is a made up fiasco that, parents got scared of, just like Dungeons and Dragons and things. And
I don't think I ever looked at Barbie and went oh, I don't look like her.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's quite a few things that are unrealistic about her. Like how her toes are always pointing to the floor.
Yeah.
Whether she's wearing shoes or not.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
That was the
People's
shoe
feet
joke.
don't look like that.
There was our Barbie shoe joke. We found it.
Okay. I think it's a little stretch to call out a joke, but...
According to a website I found called wikipedia.org, which I think just mainly is just stats about Barbie. I'm not sure.
I'll have to check it out.
A standard Barbie doll is 11.5 inches or 29 centimeters tall, giving her an equivalent height of 5'9" in real life.
That's about your height?
Nah, taller than me.
Taller.
Barbie's vital statistics have been estimated at 36 inches or 91 centimetres in the chest, 18 inches or 46 centimetres in the waist, and 33 inches or 84 centimetres in the hips. According to research by the university's Central Hospital in Helsinki, Finland, she would lack the 17 to 22% body fat required for a woman to menstruate.
Wow.
So,
Right, well, that's probably is good because she doesn't have anywhere for that to come out.
No, actually, in 1970, there was a Barbie that would... Can you imagine?
Oh, my God. I can, actually. I can imagine.
She wouldn't surprise me that much if there was a menstruating Barbie released at some point.
You move the arm.
Mattel has said that the waistline of the Barbie doll was made small because the waistbands of her clothes, along with the seams and snaps and zippers, they add bulk to the figure if the baseline is not unrealistically skinny, which I'm back and forth on. I don't know if that's a good enough excuse or not. I think it's still
probably just to save plastic. It was just a numbers game.
Yeah, probably. That's a good point. I don't think this is inherently wrong, but the rise of what has been called Barbie core, the Barbie core aesthetic, has certainly promoted a very specific form of womanhood, which has been fueling discourse since the 60s when it comes to harmful stereotypes. By 1975, Ruth Handler and her unenthusiastic husband and business partner were removed from their posts at Mattel after an investigation found them guilty of issuing false and misleading financial reports. Ruth's last creative decision for Barbie was being have the doll's eyes look forward instead of to the side. But her original...
What? Well, they initially were like bird heads.
No. They're like looking up into the corner, whereas now they stare straight.
She was doing a bit of side eye.
Yeah,
She
right.
wasn't a bird looking at you.
Unrealistic body standards for women.
One of those lizards that is looking sideways, two different directions. Right? How brutal would that be to be removed from your own company? But also, it sounds like for the best.
Yeah. Well, I bring her back into the story because her original intentions for the character were positive and encouraged female independence, which I think is interesting because when, we can look at Barbie as being more progressive now and that feels like it's maybe something that they pivoted to. But from Ruth Handler's perspective, it was always supposed to be empowering, As the enterprise of the doll grew and grew, these mistakes and problematic elements crept their way in. Some were there from the start, some turned up sporadically. And And for a long time, at least in my life, I feel like the conversation around Barbie really seemed to focus on everything the brand had done wrong. Like, I feel like every conversation growing up about Barbie involved this kind of thing. And this is, again, a pivotal plot point in the 2023 movie, which I think is great that they're able to acknowledge that and work it into their narratives and things like that. And I think it is important to acknowledge all these faults and understand that the societal standards and feminism looked pretty different in the 1960s to what it does now. You guys do go on, I imagine almost every report you do, you'll come across some like dated or, old form of what we considered okay. And it's less like an excuse and more like an explanation for why things have been the way they are. I don't want to simp for a corporation like Mattel, but I do think the creative human beings at Mattel have done a really admirable job in recent years to move with the times and understand and incorporate the constructive criticism leveled at the Barbie brand. It's a brand that is continuously learning and evolving and updating, which is, I think, more than a lot of brands who have been around for that long can say. For example, Barbie had been incorporating racial diversity from fairly early on, albeit with a few fun stumbles, which we can talk about. Companion dolls Francie and Christy were both depicted as African-American, debuting in 1967 and 1968. The former, though, was still created using the white Barbie mold, so it was criticized for lacking African characteristics other than dark skin, as did the 1980s Black Barbie, where the character, that's just what it's called, the character was presented as a different race from the original design, something which is now standard for the dolls today, wherein the different molds are used to make more accurate depictions and not just Caucasian characters with different skin tones.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. The controversies don't stop, though, because in 1997, this is a dicey one, Mattel teamed up with Nabisco to launch the Oreo Barbie, to tie into Oreos, so that, quote,
what?
Girls could play after class and share America's favorite cookie.
Wait, so it's edible? The doll's
not edible, but it's
okay.
Oreo themed, I guess.
Right. I'm picturing a creme center.
Well, maybe if you cracked the Barbie open, you'd find that in there.
Yum.
First you lick it, then you dip it. Mum said chocolate isn't good for dogs.
Yeah.
But you can have the rest of my milk. I learned a lot from that ad campaign. Mainly that chocolate isn't good for dogs.
What an important thing. Probably the most important thing Oreo has put out into the world. Yeah.
Yeah. That very day I stopped feeding chocolate to dogs.
The 1997 release of Oreo Barbie was only the white version, but when the line was re-released in 2001, both a white version and a black version were created, and critics were like, hey, do you know what Oreo means in this context? Because there can be a derogatory term for someone who is black on the outside and white on the inside. So that was then amended, and an apology was swiftly delivered.
Right. Black on the outside, white on the inside.
So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's... I would call that a faux pas.
Yeah, well, another diversity faux pas happened in 1997 when Mattel introduced Share a Smile Becky, a doll in a pink wheelchair. And Kirsty Johnson, a 17-year-old high school student from Tacoma, Washington, with cerebral palsy, pointed out that the doll would not fit in the elevator of the $100 dream house that had been released. And to Mattel's credit, they went, yep, that's a fair criticism, and they redesigned the house so that the Share a Smile Becky could fit her wheelchair in the elevator.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Share a Smile Becky's an interesting name.
Share a Smile. That's her first name.
Her first name's Share a Smile. Beautiful name for a boy or girl.
Beautiful name. Share a Smile.
Share a Smile.
So that's an example, I guess, of Mattel actually being like, yeah, fair enough, we screwed up. Here's us trying to fix it, which I think is
I'm
really
a bit
cool.
disappointed in that, because that goes against my sort of personal philosophy of doubling down. And
we'll make
saying,
it even smaller dream house.
Yeah. That's it. Oh, fine. Well, I guess We'll just delete Share a Smile Barbie now. Is that what you want? We were doing something good.
We were trying to be nice.
We're the good guys.
Barbie media has also taken important steps in recent years. While the films and shows, they all show that Barbie is capable of tackling all these dozens of different high-octane careers, from superhero to spy to video game coder. Some of this media has also taken progressive steps you maybe wouldn't expect to hear from the brand, including the web series Barbie Vlogs, in which a CGI Barbie discusses everything from girls apologizing when they don't need to there's an episode about celebrating gay dads, and there's an episode in 2020 where Barbie talks with her African-American friend Nikki about white privilege in the wake of the Black Lives Matter protest. It's very interesting and very cool. The way that the show is done is like a mocap artist sits in front of a screen and pretends to be Barbie. So the vlogs, there's like glitches in them. There's like bloopers and she'll stumble through words sometimes. And so it's this like really open and honest conversation explaining what white privilege is to children, which I think is really cool.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
One of them, I think, I've heard Margot Robbie in interviews talking about one of those videos. I think it's probably the one with like girls saying sorry when they don't have to. And like rather than saying sorry for being late or anything like that, saying like thank you for your patience. Margot Robbie has talked about that and how she learnt a good lesson from a Barbie vlog. I think that's so funny and so nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. So according to Avni Bansal, writing for Creative Salon, by 2015, Mattel had launched Barbies with 22 ethnicities, 35 skin tones, 97 hairstyles, and 9 body types. In general, a standard Barbie doll these days comes in 4 different sizes, ranging from petite to curvy, and curvy is, to be honest, still pretty skinny, but progress is being made, and Mattel seems to be like at the bleeding edge of diverse representation with their dolls. So perhaps the Barbie doll will continue to fill in the gaps and represent more types of people in the future. In 2023, for example, you can buy a Barbie with a hearing aid, a bald Barbie, a Barbie with a prosthetic leg, and most recently they released a Barbie with Down syndrome. So it really is, they really are trying to put in the work and effort to not just be like paying lip service or virtue signaling, I guess, which is admirable. Yeah,
which is great. But I just noticed on that list there's no 30-something-year-old bearded podcaster.
No, not
Barbie.
yet. I think there might be a podcaster Barbie though.
Yeah, probably.
I think there actually.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah,
I'm on the Mattel website.
Okay,
is it accurate if it's not bearded and middle-aged?
Middle-aged. I'll take all the other stereotypes for male podcasters.
You let me know when you come to terms with it. But
I was trying to see if there was a radio Barbie. I don't think there is. There's probably a DJ.
Yeah, absolutely.
AJ, I agree. We're going to live forever.
Yeah.
So how can you be middle-aged if you're going to live forever?
Yeah.
I'm still a baby.
The Barbie motto, as I've said a couple of times, is "You can be anything." And while her 200-plus careers certainly emphasize that, I think it's great that this message has also been pretty successfully applied to all walks of life with these different varieties of dolls. I've got a quote here from Ruth Handler's 1994 autobiography, Dream Doll, The Ruth Handler Story, which says, "My whole philosophy of Barbie was that through the doll, the little girl could be anything she wanted to be. Barbie always represented the fact that a woman has choices." Which I think is really beautiful, and as beautiful as manufacturing plastic can be as we march forward into the end of the world.
Yes. It's nice to play a little bit of a role in that too.
Yeah.
I have a fact here to end on that starts out what I hope Jess can say is fun and ends grim. So that's pretty... You've had a hybrid fun, grim fact before. Ruth Handler's son, Kenneth Handler, for which Ken was named, actually grew up to be a filmmaker. He directed the 1974 film Pigeon and the 1985 film Delivery Boys. That's the fun part. Is that fun?
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, well, here's the grim part. He sadly passed away in 1994. Ruth Handler has said that her son died of a brain tumour, though it was speculated for years that he actually died of AIDS-related complications, something which was apparently confirmed in 2019. And
Oh, wow. That's sad.
that is
Sad that she wasn't able to talk about it.
Yeah.
That must have been really difficult.
He has a Wikipedia page, but the Barbara Handler does not. So I thought that's kind of interesting.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I think both kids hated that the dolls were named after them, didn't they? They I think I've read that they were like, oh, it's so embarrassing.
Yeah, I can
Shut up,
imagine
Mum.
there would have been quite a period. Probably later you'd get over it, but yeah, imagine through your teens and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be a nightmare.
I'd be pretty mad if I was constantly like told I was the girlfriend of my sister as well. Right?
Yeah.
So that's my Barbie report. I hope you enjoyed it.
I didn't just enjoy it, AJ. I loved it.
Thank you so
I
much.
have, I was looking up Barbies just on, and when you Google Barbie, like Google has all these pink stars on it, which is really fun. But also the movie has a 2.9 rating on Google.
The new movie.
Which isn't good, but I'm going to guess
Yeah,
it has slightly more 1-star reviews than 5.
Oh, it's
and
been-
I'm going to guess there's a recurring theme, few recurring themes in those 1-star reviews.
I think the recurring theme is they haven't seen it.
Yeah. No, they didn't get it.
What do you call those campaigns? Review bombing or whatever?
Smear campaigns or review bombing.
Smear campaigns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is funny. I think personally, there's no better way to show how much you're unbothered and don't care about something than by, becoming obsessed with it
Yeah.
and trying to tarnish its reputation.
Well, one thing as well, because like I've so I podcast in the movie space, right? So like the misogynistic internet dwelling dude is like something that I come across quite a lot, and for listeners kind of look like I'm podcasting to you guys from my attic, and I'm beard bespectacled, I like movies and I podcast, like I fit the bill, and so I come across this kind of speech a lot, and
a lot of our listeners fit that bill as well. I think we consider go about 50% are on that side of the fence.
Bespeckled.
right,
Bespeckled.
right.
Yeah.
And hate women.
Yeah.
And and then the other half, love women.
Yeah.
Love 'em.
And I'm one of them.
I love women
Because
I'm one
how
of them.
hot are
How
women?
hot are women?
Just personally.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, AJ?
I couldn't agree more.
Jess and I talk about it all the time. Women
How hot
are
are
so
women?
hot.
Dave doesn't quite get it.
He doesn't
but
get it. He doesn't see it. He says, I just don't see it. But for me, it's just like,
so hot.
it's as real as the air we breathe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, is gravity real? Yes. Just as much as women are hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know what I mean.
Exactly.
Putting it in terms that
Everyone understands.
everyone can might understand.
Yeah. And I guess the point I'm making here is like if these guys on the internet actually like engaged with the 2023 Barbie movie, I think it's an empowering film for men. I think like the message in the film is not like men are evil. It's like, look what a unequal society does to a person, and that can be applicable to anyone.
It's hard to get it because there's a jealousy there as well. As someone who is not hot,
Because how gross are men?
How gross are men?
Yeah. That's
Two
right.
sides of the same coin. But something that they often say that I agree with, and I think this Barbie movie shows that: go woke, go broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think as it crosses the $1 billion mark,
Yeah.
I think there's been no better illustration of how true that adage is.
Exactly.
Sorry, AJ, before we get into everyone's favourite section of the show, can we do everyone's least favourite section of the show where you let them know about your podcast?
Absolutely. My podcast is called Cult Popture, and every fortnight we cover a different film franchise. We like to think that we treat things like Stuart Little and Air Bud like other podcasts treat Star Wars and Marvel. So that's me and my buddy Richard. Jess and Dave have been on part of a 28-hour episode if you want to search through the Scooby-Doo episode to find that. We've been going for about 7 years now, so we've done a lot of stuff, and yeah, it's super fun, and people should come and check it out if they like.
I think they should check it out.
Yeah. I think they'll be they're an idiot if they don't.
Any crossovers with old Do Go On episodes like Back to the Future or
Yeah, we redid Back to the Future actually quite recently.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we've done.
What other movies have we done?
Indiana
Any Brendan
Jones,
Fraser stuff?
Indiana Jones. We've done The Mummy. Actually, yeah, we did The Mummy right before I made contact with you guys about editing the show, and I've always thought, if I'd reached out a little earlier, we could have had you on the Brendan Fraser Mummy episode.
Wow.
God.
What could have been?
You reached out to me. It was quite a while. We talked for ages before I could convince Dave and Jess that you were trustworthy, to be honest. They said, we don't trust those Kiwis over there.
Yeah.
Cross the Dutch.
Fair
Honestly,
enough.
I took a while because I was like, how long does it take me to edit? It doesn't take me that long. And now, not editing, oh, man, the freedom, the weight off my shoulders.
And I wonder if the listeners have noticed it, because we used to edit our own reports. And I always had the fear that we would all edit it differently, so the sound would change every time. So I wonder if they've noticed that it's more consistent now.
Well, hopefully.
Or they've not noticed anything. Or they've noticed the quality of editing has dropped off.
Yeah.
Well, I can share that, for all the Do Go On listeners, you might be pretty jealous of me because I get exclusive, tailor-made podcasts right at the start of all your records where you make fun of me.
Yeah.
No one else
We
hears
don't
them.
make fun. We don't make fun. I just tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah. It's,
That's not making fun of you. That's giving you an instruction.
That's telling you something to do.
with love as well.
Yeah, with love.
That's just how we communicate over here. I know it's all, we're
Topsy-turvy over here.
topsy-turvy and you're all, I'm polite about everything over there. Makes us sick.
Yeah, fair enough. Makes me sick too. I wish everyone needs a little bit more.
I called my mum a the first time I saw her, and that was when I was a baby.
See, now I know I'm going to have to bleep that out as the editor.
Yeah, can you?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Either bleep it or cut it. That
you.
felt awful. That felt horrible. Ugh. I'm going to be thinking about that for ages. So glad I don't have to edit the episodes anymore and rehear any of my nonsense. Anyway, this is everyone's favourite section of the show where we get to thank some of our fantastic Patreon supporters. Without these people, this show, I don't want to overstate it, but it wouldn't exist.
It wouldn't.
You can support the show in other ways, of course, telling a friend, giving us a 5-star review. But if you want to support it in a way with money, you can go to patreon.com/DoGoOnPod. There's a bunch of different rewards on different levels. Jess, what are some of those rewards they can get?
You can vote on topics. You get early access to tickets to live shows. You can be in the Facebook group, which is the friendliest corner of the internet.
Yes, we actually just made a huge semi-announcement to the Patreons this week, which, we're not ready to go public with yet, but if you sign up, you'll see it.
Matt and I are in love. We're finally
Jess.
admitting it. And
me replacing Dave on this episode will be a permanent change.
Yeah, so if you go to patreon.com/DoGoOnPod, you can sign up and get involved in all that sort of stuff. If you sign up on the Sydney Scheinberg level, you get to give us a fact, a quote, or a question in a section of the show we like to call Fact, Quote, or Question, which I think has a jingle goes something like this.
fact, quote, or question.
Ding!
He always remembers the dong. And she always remembers the sing. And the way this bit works is people on the Sydney Scheinberg level or above get to give us a fact, quote, or a question, or a brag, or a suggestion, or really whatever they like.
Can be anything.
And then I read them out on the show for the first time. That's just me making an excuse for stumbling over words. And the first one this week comes from Mac Noble, first time fact, quote, or questioner. And they also get to give themselves a title. And Mac's title is Captain Mac Daddy.
Love that.
Which I've got to tell you, I love.
Similar to Sugar Daddy Ken. Maybe Mac has a tiny white dog named Sugar. We don't know.
We don't know. We'll never know. I refuse
or Mac
to ask.
in this case, probably.
Yeah, good point.
Coincidentally.
A better name for a dog too.
Yeah, Captain Mac.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great name for a dog.
Just Mac, but sugar? No.
No, I don't like sugar.
I'm not yelling sugar in the park. Sugar! No.
If you want to get that Barbie physique, you want to be cutting out all sugar and food from your diet.
And ribs.
Which I don't recommend, I
No.
should say.
Don't recommend it at all.
Thank you.
I don't want
Thank you for
anyone coming at
clarifying.
me like they did Mattel.
Yeah.
Which obviously I'm a big part of that name in a way. Anyway, Captain Mac Daddy's got a fact, and the fact is, sitting under the stars with a good fire, listening to you guys is one of the loveliest things in the world.
Ah,
Holy shit.
I reckon
that is a
that's
fact.
I reckn that's an opinion, guys. I'm so sorry. It's an opinion I agree with, but
No. I'm reading here. It is a fact.
It's fact. It's not
here.
fact, quote, opinion.
No, that's not an option.
It's not an option.
That's the only one that's not an option.
Don't share your dog shit opinions
No.
with us.
But facts like this, go nuts. Well, appreciate that, Captain MacDaddy. It is funny when occasionally one will come through that is a sincere compliment.
Yeah.
It's always halfway between uncomfortable and lovely.
yeah, it's the Australasian way, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
same with both of our nations, I think, is we're a lot less comfortable with praise than the Americas.
Yes.
It's something we should get better at because it's nice.
Yeah, it was lovely. Thank you so much, Captain Mac.
But also it makes me sick.
The next one here comes from David Loring, aka FIFO live show supporter. We met David after your
Yes.
show at the comedy festival.
Yep.
He flew in from Tasmania just for the show
Just
and then
to see-
flew back
yeah.
straight back.
Because he'd come over and seen your shows, but my show was in the second half of the festival and he felt bad for not coming to see my show. So he flew up from Tassie, landed a couple of hours before my show, came to the show, flew home really early the next morning.
What a legend. Thank you so much. David Loring, who's also got a fact writing, "Hey mates, hope you're all well." I'm well. Jess?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, thank you.
I'm
Okay.
I'm a little bit cold
Okay.
and I'm a bit hungry.
Yeah, it is lunch. Well, it's lunchtime for us, which means it's like afternoon tea time for you.
Absolutely.
One of my favourite New Zealandisms is what you call, I think our word for it is probably problematic these days, but in America I think they call them an ice cooler. Here we call them eskies.
Oh, yeah.
But what do you call them?
Chili bins.
Oh, chili
Love
bins.
chili
So
bins.
good.
So I think we should adopt that.
I agree.
We take everything from New Zealand anyway,
yeah.
so we might as
Fowler,
well.
Pavlova.
Yeah, we might.
Russell
Sam
Crowe.
Neill.
Sam Neill.
We may as well take chili bin as well.
I mean, the human ones, they come to us. We didn't take them.
That's right.
They chose us.
Yeah, but the chili bin we'll take.
The chili bin is ours. So, anyway, what are we talking about? David Loring writes, "Hey, mates, hope you're all well. Let's take a moment to consider the humble flamingo."
Let's.
Yes.
I think it's appropriate, a famously pink animal.
Yeah. The
I think
Barbie
most-
of birds.
It is the Barbie of birds. And they have side eyes, like the original Barbies.
Just like the original Barbies.
I think most people consider them to be a sort of goofy-looking bird, what with their one-leg standing ways and association with tacky lawn ornaments. Fact within a fact, there are more plastic flamingo decorations in the world than there are real flamingos. That is a grim fact. But I've recently learned that they're actually a pretty badass animal. There's a number of reasons for their badassery. They can reach speeds of 60 k's an hour in flight and can travel between 500 and 600 kilometers a night between different habitats or more. Holy shit.
Whoa.
But chief among them for me is that not only are they capable of drinking salt water due to having an inbuilt filtration system, but they can also dunk their whole head into these salt lakes when the water is nearly at boiling temperature. And given the way I will moan about getting a cup of coffee that's slightly too hot and tastes burnt as a result, I feel I now have a greater ambition to aspire to. Dunking your whole head into the
I wouldn't, David.
hot coffee.
I wouldn't do that though.
No, but Jess, consider the flamingo.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for reminding me to take a moment to consider the flamingo.
That does change everything.
Yeah, it does.
Now that I've considered the flamingo, I'm going to go dunk my head in a too hot coffee.
Yeah.
Maybe a salty coffee.
A salty coffee. Yes.
They're great facts, David. I love flamingos. The bar at Meredith Music Festival, my favourite place in the world, is called the Pink Flamingo. So I've just got a really happy association when I hear the word flamingo.
Flamingo.
But it's even better than I realised.
Yeah, I had not thought about them that much, and now I feel silly for that because they seem pretty sick.
And I also love because the fact that people will normally give with flamingos is they're actually not pink. It's based on the fungi they eat or something. Probably not fungi.
What?
It's
Well,
based.
but
I
then
think.
they are pink, aren't they?
Yeah, so I think they're naturally white, but they
Right.
what they drink or eat makes their feathers pink.
Right. I
That's
see.
Something like that.
sick.
Well, because the little baby ones are like grey.
Ah,
Yeah.
there you go. All right. Thank you very much, David. I hope that is the fact that I had tacked on at the end isn't a dog shit opinion. Because they're not allowed.
They're not allowed.
Oh, next one comes from Justin McCain or Mr. Justin
McCain.
Plays a silly game. That's a children's song from the 90s in Australia, AJ. Would make no sense to you.
Can I tell a story about that song?
Yes, you may.
So we have it here as well. And I remember being like 6 years old and we had a class assignment to write like a lyric for Mr. Clickety Cane. So if people haven't heard it, we basically had to be like, do something with something. So it's like what's it in the actual song? It's like
brush your teeth with orange
juice. So do something with something. And I was trying to think of mine, and I remember looking up at the like fluorescent lights in my classroom and thinking like, imagine if someone painted lights, like just put paint on lights. And so it got to me, and I was like, paint the lights. And they were like, okay, that's not enough syllables. What are you painting it with? And I said, well, the paintbrush. And so my contribution to the song was paint the lights with a paintbrush.
Dun, dun,
A very
dun.
literal child.
How did I grow up to be this creative?
Yeah.
Paint the lights with a paintbrush.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Justin McCain, Mr. Justin McCain, aka comically stressed new dad of the podcast.
Oh.
Wow.
And congratulations on your new stress, Justin McCain.
Yeah.
You should, if I don't know where you're from, I can't remember, but if you should really play Mr. Clickety Cane to your kids.
Yeah.
And change the lyrics as, really clever, creative people like AJ do.
Yeah.
Just buy things in the room. Justin McCain is offering a brag/question writing. Hopefully by the time you read this, my wonderful wife will have brought our brand new baby into the world. My question for you all is, what is your favorite childhood item?
Oh.
And Justin, as I always request, has answered his own question writing. Mine is the sheep blanket I got the day I was born.
Oh, that's cute.
Whoa.
I have a couple, probably. One is Dolly. I was very creative with naming toys.
Mine was Teddy, a bear.
Yep. Oh, everyone had a teddy. I had a big Ted.
It was accidentally put in the bin when I was a fully grown adult.
Oh my
you
God.
I travelled around with it to multiple share houses just in a box. And I think by like my 8th share house, someone accidentally chucked it. It was in a pile of junk.
Wow.
Somehow.
That's genuinely so heartbreaking.
I know,
Yeah,
it's so
it's really
funny
sad.
because I've carried it around for like decades.
Yeah.
Teddy, no!
Teddy, no!
Teddy, no!
Teddy's off on an adventure now.
Yeah, that's a fully I'm going to be Mr. Burns later. life.
Yeah. Dolly was a doll that my grandma gave me that wore this like pretty ugly, lacy, frilly white dress and like a bonnet. And she gave it to me when I was maybe 1. Instantly took all her clothes off, and then just carried Dolly around by the foot forever. She had like a soft body, but like plastic arms and legs. One of those dolls.
Classic.
I fucking love Dolly.
Where's Dolly now?
Dolly's probably still at my parents' place somewhere in a box with all the Barbies, probably. What do you have, AJ?
Well, part of the perks of living in an attic is I'd like to introduce you guys to Huddles.
Huddles!
My little soft toy rabbit that I got given when I was 4 years old.
Jeez, Huddles has got ears for days.
Huddles has fallen down the back of computer desks in every flat that I've lived in and stayed there for the entire tenure, like living at that flat.
Yep.
But he's still with me, 30 years old, and I've still got Huddles by my side.
Huddles.
Beautiful. Huddles, I'm so glad
Huddles
you had it
looks
there.
well loved.
Oh, yeah, he's got like a bullet hole in the back of his head.
That's his ass.
Have to take a photo with you and Huddles for the Patreon.
That'd be
Yeah,
cute.
absolutely.
And I also reckon you've got to get us a screenshot of you on the news as the Barbie expert. Does it have that in the title?
It says Barbie fan.
Oh, I think that they could have bumped that up. The expert.
Yeah, I think so too.
Thank you so much, Justin McCain. Congratulations on the new
Did Justin
kid.
McCain answer?
Oh, did I not? Yeah, yes. His sheep blanket he got.
Oh,
the day I
yes.
was
Sorry.
born.
Yes.
I'm thinking do you remember things called glowworms?
Yeah.
I love this. It was a little sort of rubbery toy.
Yeah.
And Dad would hold it up to the light
Oh.
before I went to bed, and then it glowed. Does that even work scientifically?
Well, I mean, that's how like glow-in-the-dark stars and stuff work.
Yeah, right. So, and then I just have it, and it just sort of be this little
glowing
toy.
That's cute.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Feeling nostalgic. Thank you, Justin. And finally this week, we've got one from Stephen Edmonds, whose title is Sorry, No Recipe This Time.
Okay, well, I'm mad at you, Stephen.
But still has titled the entry Recipe. So
Okay.
let's see what this says. Stephen writes, although it will soon be 2 years since the stupid old studios has got to move, please help if you can, no pressure telethon. There is part of it that I still think about at least once a month. During Reese's Jaffle segment in the stream recording on YouTube, it's about 3 hours, 3 minutes and 50 seconds. There is a reveal from Andy Matthews, some sort of scientist, of Jaffles with cheese and grated carrot. Then the reaction from Reese and Beck was fantastic. I remember that. Everyone was talking about the onesie, what you go to Jaffles, and people talking about beans and cheese and tomato and ham and stuff. And Andy, just like it's another one of the classic options, was talking about cheese and grated carrot. And Reese and Beck were disgusted. Des, I still have questions about that. Is the cheese also grated? Wouldn't the grated carrot be too wet?
Yeah.
Anyway, my actual question is, what would you have in a jaffle? And Stephen writes, if I'm making a jaffle, it is to use up leftovers. Last time I made a jaffle, it was with roast chicken, chorizo, and cheese. Oh, that's a gourmet jaffle.
Yeah.
You're hitting nostalgia for me as well because our canteen at school did spaghetti jaffles.
You're right, yes.
Like
that's a
tinned
classic.
spaghetti. Like, essentially, it's the same as like baked beans, except it's like overcooked pasta instead. But they would sell out really quickly. But the photography studio was right next to the canteen. So whenever I had photography, I'd go and like stock up and then pass them out to my friends. It was the best.
Nice.
So that's my go-to.
I was just wondering if jaffle is an international thing. Apparently it's an Australian term.
Yeah,
It's,
I was about to chime in and be like, what's a jaffle?
it's basically a toasted cheese sandwich, but the edges are sealed.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But apparently it's named from its creator, Dr. Ernest Smithers from Bondi in Sydney, who created and patented the jaffle iron in the 1950s.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a toasted sandwich. It's a very specific subgenre of toasted sandwich where the machine presses it all together.
Seals it in.
Yeah.
Yes. So my go-to...
What would you call that?
I'd probably just call that a toasty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think it's just like a slight variation on the toasty.
Yeah.
But I'd say mushroom, cheese, tomato, or tomato paste.
Oh, yep.
So almost like a pizza.
Yeah, a little calzone, essentially.
Yeah.
Interesting. AJ?
I'm all about the hot sauces. I'll just do cheese and then I'll find like an interesting sauce to pair with it, I think.
Love that. Yeah, yum.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Great call.
And great question. Thank you very much, Stephen. And thank you as well to Mac, David, and Justin.
Do I still have a jaffle maker at home? Can I get some spaghetti and white bread on the way home?
I think the classic ones I'm assuming, are the ones where you press it in and it's got a long metal stick and you put it in the fire. I wonder if that was the original.
Oh, wow. Right. Yeah.
I've never done that. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the original, but I've seen those around.
Sick.
But yeah, there's the more sort of classic jaffle iron slash sandwich press kind of thing.
Yep.
Something that Breville or someone like that might make.
100%. I reckon I've bought one from Kmart for $15 and then just had an absolute feast.
Oh, yeah. Man, I'm so hungry for jaffles right now.
Yeah, I could really go a jaffle. Unfortunately, there is a place that sells jaffles near us, but it's called the Bearded Jaffle, and that grosses Matt out, so we're not allowed. No, we just don't order from there.
Well,
it's gross.
You can.
I have, and it was amazing. They had a spaghetti toasty.
Yeah, I've got to talk to someone about. Yeah. But I get caught up in my head, and now I just can't. If a word grosses me out attached to the food, anyway, whatever. Don't need it. I'm not on the clock in my therapy session right now. But the next thing we like to do is shout out to a few of our other fantastic Patreon supporters. Jess, you normally come up with a game here.
Yeah, obviously we have to name their Barbie.
Well, fantastic.
I do have every Barbie from the different years in front of me. I could we don't have their birthdays, do we? But I could randomly scroll to one and read it.
Yes.
Would love that.
Yeah. I like that.
Alrighty.
So maybe, Jess, we just go one for one here?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if I can kick us off, I'd love to thank from Inverell in New South Wales here in Australia, Anna Parker.
Sweet. And Anna Parker can have the 2000 Summer Olympics in Sydney, Australia.
Whoa, whoa.
Barbie released Olympic swimmers with gold medals in 2001.
Were they Team USA?
I think they might have been as well. I think that would be misleading because I think Australia won a few in the pool that year. Okay.
That was a good year for us in the pool.
Yeah. It's not like America to have a bit of bravado.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and
USA!
market towards probably the main audience and market. Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Have you seen their American soccer team ad?
No.
It's just basically like, good luck beating us at the World Cup. And it goes for like 2 minutes, and it would have cost them millions of dollars.
And it's been
shit. I only saw it once they got eliminated. And then the rest of the world's going, But I mean, surely all ads pumping you up for a sports tournament are going to be pretty positive about your chances. It is maybe a little bit too far, but
it's
probably more backlash than probably deserved.
I would love to thank where's this? 2L in Utah?
Yeah.
That's exciting. Brian Cunningham.
Oh, anything salty there or desert-like?
Absolutely. I've got in front of me a cooking show, Barbie, where she hosted a cooking show in 2008. You can get the figure and also like a fridge stocked with plastic food and a counter and cooking instruments and even like a clapperboard and a camera.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah. That's because often you'll only get a few little accessories, so it's nice to get like quite a lot there, which is great.
Yeah.
That's a picture of 2L.
Beautiful place.
Looks great. So green, but in the desert. It's just a little looks like a suburb just planted in the desert. If I could go again, and I'm assuming I can,
please.
I'd love to thank from Reston in Virginia in the United States, Dina Gottesman. Would you say Gottesman?
Yes.
We're going to give Dina the Cher Barbie doll, which came out in 1970. It is a miniature version of Cher wearing sort of like a... Didn't look at this before I said it out loud. What we'd now call maybe like a problematic Native American outfit, but
oh man! But it's a collector's item, Dina, and it's going to be worth a lot of money. Keep it in the box.
It says here that the singer wore this for the music video "Half Breed" in 1970. So
wow, okay.
Apparently,
I'll be a bit more discerning with the next Barbie I pull up.
I've just looked it up, and it's that is controversial. But she would wear like the headdresses and stuff. But it says I'm not looking into this very much, but it says her mother, Georgia Holt, an aspiring actress and occasional model, is of Cherokee, English, and French descent.
It's all good then. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Maybe it's a little less problematic, which is great. A relief for Dina.
But yeah, obviously I've not looked into that too much.
Swiftly moving on, I would love to thank from Indianapolis, Indiana, Azaid. That's
a sick name.
Azaid, I'm going to give the 1962 Red Flare Barbie, which is a Barbie in a voluminous red coat and matching hat, and is said to be inspired by Jackie Kennedy.
Whoa.
Wow.
Jackie Kennedy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love a big red coat. Can I have one too?
No, you can't.
I know you're dishing these out. Oh,
no, only one Barbie per.
Damn. All right, next one comes from, oh my God, address unknown. Return to the sender, can only assume from somewhere deep within the fortress of the moles, but please, may I thank you. I'm getting word, yes I can. Rebecca Cutler.
Nice. Rebecca Cutler, I'm going to give the 2021 line of frontline vaccine Barbie dolls released during the pandemic, including one modelled after Sarah Gilbert, professor of vaccinology at Oxford University, who co-created one of the vaccines.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Imagine having a Barbie modelled after you. That'd be sick.
Yeah. That'd be sick if they're listening.
That'd be sick. And you do want to fill that gap and have a podcast of Barbie?
Yeah. Podcast of Barbies.
Exactly.
Would I have to be a Ken? No, they do other characters.
I think it's
I could be Blaze number 2.
I think it's about it's not about whether you're a guy or a girl. It's about your characterization in life.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, you are a Ken, Matt. Yes.
Yeah, you're a Ken. Yeah, you can. But AJ is a Barbie.
I'm a Barbie, correct?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you're both having a go at me
No,
here.
not at all. No, it's not. It's not an insult. It's just how it is.
It's just Ken.
He's a bit dopey though, Ken, isn't he?
No.
Barbie's the smart one. Ken's the dopey
No.
one.
It
Ken's
depends on the Ken or the Barbie.
Exactly.
It depends on the Ken.
Ken's had a million different jobs.
There's no other accent where that rhymes, but you made it work. Depends on the Ken.
Okay, I would love to thank from Portland in Oregon. How would you say this name, Matt? Eci
Eci or
Hughes. Eki Hughes. Eci Hughes. I'm going to say
Etsy.
Eci.
Eci.
It's ECY.
ECY.
Etsy is a great name, no matter what it is.
Essie Hughes. I'm going to give the 2018 tie-in to the movie A Wrinkle in Time, starring Mindy Kaling, Oprah Winfrey, and Reese Witherspoon, all released as Barbies. So there you go. That commemorates that movie that we all remember.
Yes.
All love.
So they do some that no one has heard of as well, which is cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like President Barbie.
Yeah. The next person I'd love to thank, also address unknown, can only assume from deep within the fortress of the moles, Gingold.
Jingold.
Gingold.
I'm going to give the 1983 Barbie Townhouse, which was a play set that was sort of your more yuppie looking, what I'd call it like a YoPro flat, but I don't think they had the term YoPro in 1983.
Love that.
Yeah. What is
That's
that,
a
Young
whole set.
Professional?
Young Professional, yep. It had
Took me a few minutes to unpack that.
it has
Edit out that thinking time if you don't mind. Make it sound like I got it straight away.
Yeah. It included a dining room, an eat-in kitchen, living room, and bedroom.
Wow.
But no bathroom or toilet. So
Well,
Doesn't
as
need
we've
it.
talked about before, they don't have the necessary
The bits.
bits.
does that make Barbies all gentlemen then?
Yes, I think so.
All Barbie's a gentleman.
Apart from that one who eats dog shit
Yeah,
and shit dog
That's
shit.
a dog.
The only Barbie doll that's not a gentleman is Tanner the Labrador.
And that's reasonable, I think.
That dog is no gentleman. It's actually a sick dog. It eats its own shit. Where are we up to, Bopper?
I would like to thank from Leeds.
Oh, Leeds.
In the UK, Lizard Jackson.
Lizard Jackson is getting the...
Well, I took a sip of water at the wrong time, man. Lizard Jackson, holy fuck. Lizard Jackson.
frantically searching for
Jesus
a lizard-themed Barbie. No,
There's got to be a crocodile hunter or
shall
something
I
like that, right?
Control F lizard?
Yes, please.
Or croc.
Okay.
There's got to be. Surely there was a tie into Steve Irwin.
No, there's no lizard, or at least not on this insider website in which they're all presented. I can't find one, but I can Google it. I'll Google lizard Barbie. Oh God, this is not what. This is people who have turned their Barbie dolls into lizards, ripped the heads off and things.
Okay.
There's a Barbie lizard queen on Pinterest. From you can buy it on Etsy, and it's
these are scary. I don't like this.
A bootleg lizard Barbie.
Bindi Irwin's got her very own Barbie doll. What about that? That's pretty close.
Let's do that one.
Yeah.
Bindi Irwin has a Barbie?
According to newidea.com.au, Bindi Irwin gets a very own Barbie doll.
That's awesome. All right. And bringing it home then, Matt, if you want to thank our last...
I'd love to
Patron.
thank from Austin, Texas. Stay weird. It's Breezy.
Breezy.
That is.
Breezy.
I think Breezy gets it. Breezy gets the whole ethos that Austonians like me. I'd stay there for a week, and others share, like Willie Nelson. Staying weird.
Yep.
Breezy.
And
Yeah.
for Breezy,
doing it.
we're going to give them the 1965 Bangs Barbie. Barbie's bangs are back with a striped jumpsuit, and she's got bangs.
Hell yeah.
Pretty
Finally.
disappointed there's no Willie Nelson Barbie, but Bangs Barbie will
There's got
have to do the job.
Yeah, yep.
So thank you so much to Breezy, Lizard, Jingold, Eki, Essie, Rebecca, Aziad, Dina, Dinah, Brian, and Anna. And that leaves just the last thing for us to do. Welcome a few people into our Triptych Club. We got 4 inductees and unductees.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm starting to talk with the New Zealand accent.
For
What do vowels mean
inductees?
anymore? Inductees. I did a gig with Tony Martin last night, and he's Australia's another adopted Kiwi. And I think maybe talking to you and him back to back, I'm going to start slipping into it.
Yeah, it happens. So the Triptych Club, it is that what we're doing? Yeah.
Yes.
Essentially, I zoned out because I was doing something.
Oh,
Anyway.
that's okay, because AJ will be able to explain it better than us anyway.
Yeah, go on, AJ. Do you want to explain
The
the
Triptych Club is people who have been patrons for 3 years or more. Is that it?
Yeah,
He's done
3 years
it.
straight. That's right. On the shout-out level or above.
Yep.
And it's an exclusive club. It's I think of it as an airport lounge, or like a clubhouse.
I think of it like a 1950s Vegas lounge cabaret, Red Velvet.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra.
There's a bar. We've
Was
got
playing.
beautiful meal. You can eat. You can. There's sleeping pods, but beautiful showers. Everything you'd possibly need.
It's almost like a Barbie dream house.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
yes!
I think of it more in the Christchurch equivalent, Christchurch, New Zealand equivalent, which is a pool bar that closes at 10:30 p.m.
Yes. Yeah.
So-
Yep. And then there's bunk beds, and everybody goes to their bed.
Yeah.
Because you can't leave once you're in the Triptych Club. Now,
True.
normally Dave books a band.
Yes.
I've actually done it this
Oh,
week.
great. That worked out well.
Yeah, and I you won't believe it, but
Try me.
to come and play their huge hits like Turn Back Time,
That's the ballad.
My Oh My, Dr. Jones,
That song's a banger.
and Barbie Girl, I've bloody booked Aqua.
Holy shit.
There
Can you
go.
believe it? I got him.
Incredible.
After
Dr. Jones.
months,
Holy shit.
I've got him.
That is sick. I can't wait to meet them and see them and enjoy them.
Yeah,
I'm just going to ask for Dr. Jones to be played on loop.
they're not going to do that.
Dr. Jones, calling Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones, where are you?
Do you know what life was like for me when that song came out? Having the surname
course.
Jones.
Of course. Yeah.
It was great.
It was
I
good.
awesome.
imagine.
Everyone thought
yeah.
I was a doctor.
Yeah, it's so sick. It's like when Mambo Number 5 was big and my name's in that. I
Oh,
would
of
be like,
course.
here we go.
I imagine it was better then than it is now that Alex Jones is also the name of a guy
Yeah.
who believes in a lot of things.
Yeah. I've done, as I've sort of tried to become an internet personality, I've had to really curb my real name to be
Yeah.
as least thought about as possible.
Yeah.
So we got 4 inductees. Is there anything else we need to do? Oh, you got any food or drink on the go?
Well, and you won't necessarily get this, having not seen the film yet, but I don't have real food, but I do have decals of food that I've stuck to the inside of fridges
Yeah.
and onto plates and stuff.
Right. So they can't eat in the film. It's all.
No, they're Barbies. So,
Well, I imagine in the other Barbie movies they can eat. So it wasn't a ridiculous question. No, they're Barbies. Jesus.
are you okay?
Not right now. Not the way that I'm being treated here.
How are you being treated?
Well, not with a lot of dignity.
I think that's a lot of, you're doing a lot of that yourself.
Yes.
So, okay, so we need to thank these people. I'll hype them up.
Okay.
AJ, you hype me up.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds
Here we
good.
go.
Here we go. Firstly, welcome in to the Triptych Club from West Lakes in South Australia. It's Sean.
Sean, join me on a sojourn
Yes!
through the park.
Yes!
Sean. Dave's lost his job already. One in, and that's better than anything he's ever done.
It's not bad.
Please welcome from Sydney, Australia. It's Nicola Welsh-Burke.
Nicola Welsh-Burke.
Or Nicola Welsh-Burke, if that helps you.
Yes!
We're not Welshing on this deal. You're
Yes.
in the club for good. Welcome. Make
Yes.
yourself at home. Next up from location unknown. Can only assume from deep within the fortress of the moles. It's Anne P.
And the man.
Yes.
And I mean that in like the most positive way possible.
Yes.
You're the man, Anne.
We
Yes.
love men here. This is a men-loving podcast. And finally from Brown Hill in Victoria, Australia, it's Caitlin Louise.
Brown hill, more like turn that frown hill
Yes.
upside down hill
Yes.
and smile.
Smile Hill.
Come on, Barbie. Let's go party.
It's a very Aussie trip to the club this week. Welcome in. Make yourselves at home. Caitlin, Anne, Nicola, and Sean. And that brings us to the end of the episode. Anything we need to tell people before we go, Boppa?
Just that we love them, that they can suggest a topic on our website. There's also a link in our show notes. Our website is dogoonpod.com. You can find us on social media at dogoonpod. AJ, where can people find you across social media if they would like to follow you and your podcast?
Yes, so we're Cult Popture on all the places. You can find us on all the places you harvest your podcasts from. And if you want to follow me personally, I'm on Instagram at AJandHD, and that's my username on TikTok as well if you do want to follow a very dead account, but you can still watch my previous
You can see
virals.
its former glory.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you, AJ, again for
good,
joining us, for doing the report so we didn't have to. Love that. Thank you for editing it. And
your TikTok account is kind of like Barbie's cousins.
Yeah.
It's been taken out the back.
Yeah.
And a bullet has been put in.
Yeah. How do we wrap this up?
I think...
How does Dave do it?
Well, I think we say we'll see you next week with another fantastic episode of Do Go On. I know that because we've already recorded it. And thanks so much for joining us, AJ.
Good.
But until next week, I'll say laters.
Bye.
See ya.